Raring to go.
You have to explain what it is, right, Howard? Just helping, helping.
Yeah.
What kind of plane do you have?
What?
What do you have up here?
Yeah, big one. Seats 9. Crazy not to come with us. We are live from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. A town, New Orleans, where the Crescent City has gone crazy, has adopted Bum Phillips and the New Orleans Saints. Finally, they have a winner. And the best evidence is in the NFC West standings, where there is a dogfight. And with a win tonight, the Saints could be tied for first in the NFC West. The AFC East, another dogfight, but clearly the Jets, the most disappointing team because of the preseason estimates in the National Football League. And they've got a new song and they've got a new saying in this town, and the GIF has become an expert on it. Who dat says they're going to beat them Saints? Who dat?
They're all singing it, Howard, and you pointed out the importance to this franchise. They've never had a winning team here in New Orleans in 16 years, and they feel they've got one together now, a win tonight, and they move into a tie in the NFC Western Division. Bum Phillips is going to go with his best. Kenny Stabler, the veteran 37-year-old quarterback, has not played in the past 3 weeks. He has a very sore rib cage. He also has a damaged right knee, but he seems to play the best when things go tough. And Kenny Stabler, 11-2-1 on Monday Night Football, will be quarterbacking the Saints at least as long as he can go tonight. And the Jets, they have their star running back Freeman McNeil back, and who better to tell you about what a running back can mean to a football team than the Juice, the OJ.
Well, he couldn't be coming back at a better time after 7 weeks being out with a shoulder injury. Freeman McNeil means a lot to this Jet offense, especially to some individuals like Wesley Walker. Wesley, in the first 4 games of the season, had 5 touchdown passes. In the 7 weeks Freeman has not played, Wesley hasn't caught a touchdown pass. Well, Freeman's back tonight. He's raring to go, and I bet you may see Wesley Walker in the end zone tonight. Well, who that kicking off, Frank Gifford?
Thank you, OJ, and that is the question. It's a song we've heard ever since we arrived in New Orleans. Some of the Saint players have actually recorded it, and you hear it wherever you go. They are really fired up down here. It's perhaps their season on the line tonight. As we look down on the field, you can see the Jets have elected to receive, winning the toss and dropping deep. Number 89, Preston Brown, he leads the NFL in kickoff returns. His longest, only 46 yards, so he is very consistent. This is Morton Anderson. He'll get things underway for the New Orleans Saints. Sellout crowd, 71,000 plus at the Superdome in New Orleans, and we're underway. Anderson hooks it deep into the corner. Kirk Springs will settle there, touchback, and the Jets will have their first possession following the touchback of the 20-yard line, and they'll trot out their offensive unit, headed, of course, by Richard Todd. Todd on the year, 60%, 13 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. He's been erratic at times. He has been brilliant at times. But that has been the character of the Jets team thus far this year. Many thought they would go to the Super Bowl. They still think they have an outside shot, even though there are 4-7, because they have 3 of their Eastern Division AFC opponents remaining on their schedule. We'll talk about it later. First down and 10, and coming off the right side, Freeman McNeil, the first time he's carried a football, the first time he's been hit in 7 weeks. And McNeil will pick up a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and 8. It'll be a 3-4. Bum Phillips likes that defense. The big man there, Jim Kovach, good against the run. The secondary, Johnny Poe, with 7 interceptions. He was tied for the NFL lead in interceptions after 11 with Mark Murphy and Rick Sanford. Murphy got one yesterday, so Poe can move back into a tie if he could get an intercept tonight. 2nd down and 8, the ball resting just at the 23-yard line. That's Mickey Schuler in motion. Freeman McNeil. He likes to work. who likes to work hard, and the Saints swarm to the right side, and McNeil held right at the line of scrimmage. He maybe squeaked out a half a yard. It'll be third down, passing situation now for Richard Todd. And again, the wide receivers that we'll watch tonight. Lamb Jones will play a great deal of the time tonight. Wesley Walker throws another deep threat. And there is an absolutely perplexed rookie coach, Joe Walton, former teammate of mine, offensive coordinator at Washington, took over the job this year from Walt Michaels. And Joe himself, I think, is wondering just what has happened. Third down, long yardage. Up at the top of your screen, unusual for the Jets. They put Lamb Jones and Wesley Walker, and now they bring Walker in motion. Todd is back. And picked off by Russell Gary. Underthrown, and Gary has it. Gary drops the ball, and it's loose. There's a scramble at the 22-yard line. And it could be that a Jet got in there. Gary looking for the end zone, and now the Saints say they have it, and it looks as though they do. Well, we'll wait till they unpile, and now the Saints have the football. They're near the Jets' 22-yard line. Dave Waymer, the cornerback, helping the strong safety Russell Gary. Let's look at it again. Underthrown and short juice.
What it appeared that he was trying to throw a post pattern. The man really wasn't open. He was covered real well. Double team Wesley Walker. Fine interception by Gary, and he's making a good run back for it. Waymer was a little lucky. Dropped the ball here, looking at the big tackle, getting ready to tackle him. Waymer ended up sitting on the football.
Gary brings it back inside the 23-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. Kenny Stabler on. We'll give you his numbers on the season, but this is his first start in 4 weeks. He has George Rogers, the great third-year running back out of South Carolina, and this is Rogers, the big one, and he pulls inside the 20-yard line, down close to the 17-yard line. Rogers coming into tonight, 7th in the NFC rushing with over 700 yards, averaging well over 5 yards per carry. He's big. He's 6'2", 224 pounds. He missed 3 games earlier in the year with a bad knee, but he has quickly picked up 6 yards. It'll be second down and 4. The ball inside the 17-yard line. Jeff Groth, wide receiver, top of your screen. Gene Goodlow splits to the left, the rookie from Kansas State. Oki Gajan gets the call over the left side, and Gajan piled up near the first down marker. He'll be just a bit of a short. Let's take a look at the offensive unit, of course, headed by this man, Kenny Stabler. Been around 14 years. He gets up for the big ones. We've watched him. He was 11-2-1 on Monday Night Football coming into tonight. There is the rest of the offensive unit. Brad Edelman, potential All-Pro at left guard. But Bum Phillips will work Leon Gray in, Steve Cord in, and Kelvin Clark. He likes to use a lot of offensive linemen. Third down, short yardage for the Saints. The big man, Rogers. Touchdown. It was George Rogers taking it in from the 18-yard line. And the crowd is on its feet. 14-yard touchdown.
And Big Rogers did one excellent job on this run. You know, the psychological battle early in the game, the Jets have been very proud the last 7 weeks how they've been able to stop the run. As you know, Bum Phillips teams always like to run the football. And you're looking at George Rogers doing one super job of it right there.
And you saw a good block by Hokie Gajan, the youngster out of LSU, on to the conversion. Mort Anderson and the Saints are out in front. They lead 7-0 in what they consider the must game. And there is George. They are fired up, not only the fans, but the Saints themselves. I'll tell you, that's going to help us.
Now, what is it you fellows want? Uh-huh. And you don't want anything said in truth about the Jets, right? Okay.
You want us to let it play, though, correct? Is that right? Is that right? Somebody tell me. Okay. You tell me when to go. Say they're going to beat them Saints. Anderson hits it to Preston Brown. Here comes Preston Brown. Brown bounces off tacklers. He's taken it to the 15-yard line. The Saints have fired up. That song I mentioned earlier, they have been singing it throughout our stay here in New Orleans. 5 of the Saints players recorded it. It was the saying first, the lead of the Neville brothers put the words to it, and it's all over town.
At a time when the Jets are seeking somehow to find faith in themselves, they couldn't have had a worse start. That's evident. And quickly you saw the 2 improvements in the Saints under Bum Phillips. First, the secondary vastly improved with the intercept. Second, the pass rush, the 2 co-relief.
Barkham in motion, first down and 10. Todd has the time, fires it complete. Freeman McNeil circling out of the backfield. He gets to the line of scrimmage and then he stretches it forward for another yard before Whitney Paul is there defensively.
The Jets are second in the National Football League in the dump-off pass, second only to Minnesota Vikings. They throw to their backs, that's what's called the dump-off, more than anybody except the Vikings, and that's why their offense has been labeled predictable.
Isn't it interesting that the Saints throw to their backs the least amount of times in football?
Right.
Second down and 8. Richard Todd, single setback. Freeman McNeil. Wesley Walker, top of your screen. Stunning by the defensive line. Richard Todd hangs one up high, and that very nearly was Richard Todd's 19th interception of the season, and for Johnny Poe, nearly his 8th. That one just hung up there. Hopefully that Wesley Walker could get under it. Johnny Poe playing way off Wesley Walker. It'll bring a third down and 8, and the Saints are known for their blitz. They had 43 sacks through 11 games. That was tied with San Francisco for the best in the NFL. They bring them from everywhere, and on occasion that has rattled Richard Todd, and we anticipated seeing it many times tonight.
Well, Richard Todd seems to be a little tight tonight. He threw 2 passes now. He's thrown 2 passes to Wesley Walker, and Wesley Walker wasn't open either time.
Scott Durkin comes in to join Freeman McNeil. Bruce Harper out of the backfield, and it's fired, and it's into the arms of Jerome Barkham, and Barkham has the first down out close to the 30-yard line.
Interesting about Richard Todd. He's now labeled erratic. He's lost a lot of confidence in himself. That much is clear. But this man was a game short of getting the Jets to the Super Bowl a year ago, and nobody can dispute that. And the year before, with cracked ribs, he hit Jerome Barkham with but seconds left in a critical win over Miami and led the Jets into the playoffs. Don't count this man out. He's
29-yard line,
good.
First down and 10. Freeman McNeil, single setback, draw play. Works well over the left side. McNeil ambles up for about 4 yards to bring up second down and 6. Kovac in there defensively, as he usually is against the run.
Well, it's certainly no surprise that they're going to McNeil a lot here early. A back like McNeil in the backfield, if he can just break one, he gets the whole defense concerned about him. The safeties have to come up and fill in the gaps. The corners have to come up and force. And that's what's going to get those wide receivers open.
But he came back honestly, Juice. He said, don't expect miracles. It was like the day Bill Bradley came back from his Rhodes Scholarship and joined the Knicks. He said, do not regard me as the second coming. He'll be a little tentative tonight, Frank.
Jim Wilkes comes out of the 3-man down front for the Saints. Frank Warren, a third-year man from Auburn in there. Wilkes appeared to be all right. Mickey Schuler in motion for the Jets on second down and 6. Richard Todd, he has Wesley Walker there and let him out of bounds. It'll bring up a third down and 6.
Sure, they love the Falcons and Redskins. Both of them beat the rivals yesterday, the Niners and the Rams. Redskins didn't beat the Rams, they demolished them.
Yeah.
They have a new hero, and there he is in New Orleans. Bum Phillips came in 1981. The last 6 times he's been on Monday night, as you can see. He was a winner. He did it all at Houston.
Yeah, he's a big winner on Monday night, but the Saints have never won a game on Monday night, so it'd be interesting if Bum could end that jinx.
4-man front for the Saints. 3rd down and 6. Reggie Lewis, number 98, is in there. Hyde rolling out. Has a man open. Now he checks it off, and he'll be short of the first down. And defensively, it was Russell Gary who made the interception earlier, making a good hit on Lamb Jones, short of the first down, and we'll see the punting unit. And our first punt of the night with 9:20 remaining in the first quarter, and Jeff Groth will drop for the Saints.
Well, Johnny Lamb Jones has been playing some super football for the Jets in the last couple of weeks, but he just made one cardinal mistake for a receiver.
Less than the first down yardage.
Ran less than the 3rd down yardage. If you catch the ball and you get hit, you should have the first down.
There is Jeff Groth, averaging a little under 7 yards a return. Originally a Miami Dolphin and was with Bum when he was in Houston. Houston let him go, and Bum got him back. Chuck Ramsey hits it. It doesn't turn over, but Groth will take it at the 26. And he is nailed right there. It'll be first down and 10. The Saints at their own 26-yard line.
Well,
37-yard punt.
Let me tell you about that sign. If there's a coaching around the league that need a halfback, don't call O.J. Simpson.
I'll give him your number. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, that's real exciting. Yeah. You know, we can't say it, but that's a perfect example of coaching.
Of course.
You know, it's a perfect example of that.
Well, he wanted to go deep.
Yeah. But
he could have gone deep.
What's his name should have run the first down. But SB's done that a lot this year, and I don't know what it is. I won't.
I called it at the start of the year. I called it in the middle of the year. It'll be the same at the end of the year, and that's the way it is.
We have 8:42 remaining in the first quarter. The Saints getting a turnover on the Jets' very first series. Got a 14-yard touchdown run out of George Rogers. They have a 1st and 10 now at their own 26-yard line. Little setback. George Rogers and Hokie Gajan. Rogers, left side. He's a workhorse, and he hammers up to the 30-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And for the first time, with all the activity, we'll take a look at the defense. It's finally where the Jets wanted it at the beginning of the season. Joe Klecko back. Playing on the inside, not getting the calls that he did a year ago when he was on the outside. There is your secondary. Darrell Ray, fine free safety. Kenny Stabler, 37 years old, the quarterback. Great years at Oakland. Dropped into Houston for a couple of years. Hands off to Rogers, and Rogers is hammered over the left side. It's Klecko. Joe Klecko has done a lot for that defensive front 4 because he lets Mark Gastineau roam. There he is, number 73.
Klecko is back. A couple of years ago, considered maybe the best defensive lineman in football, playing defensive end there. Then the terrible hurt to the knee, the surgery, tentative early in the year. The man is clearly back.
Wayne Wilson will be the single setback. Good receiver out of the backfield. There are 3 wide receivers that have joined the receiving corps for the Saints on 3rd and 5. Stabler, sidearms, and it's picked off. The man who always picks it off for the Jets, Lance Mel, into the end zone. Kenny Stabler, I don't think he even saw him. He threw it underhanded. He was under pressure. 32-yard touchdown. Lance Mel, 4th interception of the year. And this is a man who really does not get the credit he deserves because he is always where he should be. Grades out almost 100% every game.
One of the many reasons This team was regarded before the season opened as a possibility for the Super Bowl. Lance Mel with 2 key intercepts in the playoff victory against the Raiders, 17-14 in the Coliseum last year. Out of Penn State, like so many others. Fine football player.
Matt Leahy hits it through the uprights, and we've got a tied football game. Lance Mel, it was his 5th interception of the year, his first touchdown. And we're tied at 7. Critical game for the Saints. We'll be back in a moment with the kickoff.
Well, that was a case of our friend Bum saying that Stabler didn't have to practice. Stabler was a little late with the pass.
Doesn't matter. That'll pick up the Jets' confidence.
Yeah,
5 million%.
It's good for us. It's good for us. I don't argue that.
And they won't run on this team. This team has players coming out of their
I think they will run on them. See?
Not successfully.
I think they're going to run on them.
Rodgers will get about 90 yards, but,
do it.
Well, we'll see. I tell you what, that one play they stopped him on second down, a half a step outside, he'd have been gone. Somebody didn't hold a block.
You talking to me or Howard? Yeah. Crisis game. Edward Muskie plays the president. Other former government officials
He has
play
now
the other
5
roles
interceptions.
as they discuss a nuclear crisis, I guess, huh? It is a nuclear crisis, right? And that begins tomorrow night on Nightline. Okay. Lance Mel puts the Jets even with the New Orleans Saints. There he is. Howard mentioned one of 3 Penn State linebackers on this Jets roster, and they are coached by Ralph Baker, another Penn Stater. Matt Leahy has it on the tee. Deep is Jimmy Rogers, back there with Wayne Wilson. Low line drive. Carries into the end zone. And they'll stay in the end zone. Jimmy Rogers and Wayne Wilson playing a frickin' frack with it. And Wayne Wilson falls on the ball, touchback. I'll remind you, coming up on Nightline, beginning tomorrow night, after last night's presentation of the day after, a lot of people are thinking, how would our government pack react in a crisis where the stakes are life and death? Beginning tomorrow, a 4-part special simulates the real thing with Senator Edward Muskie as the president and former government officials in other key roles. The crisis game, and it'll begin tomorrow night on Nightline with Ted Koppel. Fascinating concept. First down and 10 for the Saints at the 20-yard line. Kenny Stabler, I don't think even saw Lance Mel. Had a jet right in his face, tried to sidearm it. George Rogers over the left side. And Rogers gets his 4 out close to the 24-yard line. It'll bring up second down and 6.
It is a rare day in November or any other month when Bum Phillips throws to his backs. He is a believer in using the backs safely, using them to run. Earl Campbell.
Yeah, we asked him about that last night.
Give it to him 25 times without a fumble. I didn't want to hear any more about Campbell having bad hands.
Why would I have to throw it to him when I could turn around and hand it to him, was his exact words.
Second down and 6, and the Saints do go to Hokie Gaijon. He has a first down.
And you see why they went to him. He knows what to do with it once he gets it.
Hokie Gaijon, 10th round draft pick, did a lot of things over to LSU, and he can do a lot of things for the Saints.
Well,
Phillips likes that second back in there who can take the football, and Gaijon also, while he's short stature, 5'11", 225, he's a good blocker for George Rogers.
Keep a good eye on him because he looks a lot like Rob Carpenter at the time. He plays a lot like
He's the same type, which Bum mentioned, and the quick hitch to Hokie there was good call.
First down and 10, Wayne Wilson in the lineup, joining Hokie Gaijon. And this is Wayne Wilson. And Wilson over the right side. He's hammered first by Marty Lyons. He gets 3 yards. It'll bring up second down and 7.
Wilson is maybe the only free agent left on this New Orleans team. Basically, they're a very happy group. And Bum is very confident that he'll not be going to any other league.
Well, Wayne Wilson, almost a free agent, a 12th round pick. That's a free agent to Bum because he doesn't like anything after the 4th round pick. Gave him all away last year. And second down and 7. It's Gaijon, and Gaijon explodes out to the 45-yard line. The crowd loves it. First down, New Orleans. Game tied at 7. We're inside 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Lance Snell and Ken Troy defensively.
Well, as I said earlier, if anything's apparent, that the Saints are winning their early psychological battle, because the Jets have been very proud of the fact that after the first 4 games of the year, when they gave up so many running yards to Kurt Warner, Tony Collins, and Eric Dickerson, they literally stopped every team from running the football. The leading ball carriers against them in the last 7 weeks have only gotten 50 yards, and they don't feel that it can be run on, and of course that's what the Saints do so well.
And an underneath shot, and it goes to Jeff Gross, and Gross struggles up close to another first down for the Saints. Coming up a little short in the arms of Lance Snell.
Now, of course, that's what you look for from Stabler. The quick, short pop underneath. At best, in these days, he can throw the intermediate pass. The long bomb, forget it.
Yeah, well, Bum told us that he hasn't really practiced much, but he really doesn't need to practice. On his interception pass earlier, I think he was a little late going to the back, but being the old pro that he is, he went right back to the back in the flat so that the Jets would know he's not afraid to do it.
And interception return for a touchdown might shake a lot of quarterbacks, but it does not shake this man. He's been there before. Second and short, and George Rogers gets the first down, close to the 43-yard line of the Jets. And the Jets are saying that he bobbled it. Whistle had blown. Still no sign from the official. No, the whistle had blown. It'll be first down and 10, New Orleans. 43-yard line. The Saints defensively are a solid team. The Jets, 11th in the AFC. They have 7s right across the board. They're 7th overall. They're 7th against the run. They're 7th against the pass. They've had 29 sacks, 16 interceptions, 17 counting Lance Snell's tonight. Rogers now 32 yards on 6 carries. Stabler has to hurry it because he was hammered. Gastineau was there, and number 77, Kenny Neal.
Gastineau is taking this game with special seriousness. He has deep personal goals. He's got 13 sacks. Sharing the league lead, Betters, Miami, Dean, who had a brilliant game a week ago against New Orleans, both at 15. Gastineau at 13. He'd like to pass them both tonight.
Gastineau's, of his 13 sacks, 7 of them have come in the last 2 weeks, and that could coincide with the rapid improvement of the man inside of him, Joe Klecko. And this is Gaijan, and Gaijan working hard, gets inside the 40, close to the 33-yard line, a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. Kenny Neal tripping up Gaijan.
Rather shabby tackling, Juice. He should have been hit earlier, spun away, but should have been hit.
Yeah, but the run was typical of this Saints team. Bum Phillips teams always play with a lot of emotions and a lot of intensity, and these backs aren't going to be easy to bring down.
Out comes Kenny Neal. In comes Ben Rudolph defensively for the Jets. A good pass rusher. Johnny Lynn is in there as the nickelback. Third down and long yardage for Stabler. Fires once again. This is Hobie Brenner. Brenner in a sprint to the end zone, and he'll win it. Stabler got it underneath. He was leveled and hit hard just as he released the ball. He's slow getting up, but he got the pass to Brenner. Brenner behind the defender. 38-yard touchdown for New Orleans. Hobie Brenner, the leading receiver for the Saints.
Saints have a play-action pass going here. They were just going for the first down, but Darrell Ray sort of came up, maybe trying to get an interception, and Hobie Brenner just turned around and won the race to the end zone.
Take a look at Stabler. He takes quite a shot. Down he goes.
It wasn't a hit that got him. It was the way Marty Lyons drove him into the turf that may have shook him up a little bit.
Morton Anderson for the conversion. The Saints have retaken the lead. 4:02 remaining in the first quarter. Kenny Stabler comes right back and turned it over for a touchdown. He matches that one with his own.
Bush League play by Darrell Ray.
You know, I think the officials screened him.
I didn't see that. I saw him.
The official had to duck the ball.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah, but he may not have saw the ball because he looks.
Yeah, Stabler's got a sidearm. Yeah, what? one of those.
I'd like to see that. I would like to
Okay.
see that Lions driving him into the turf. That's something the officials should look for. Yeah, I'd like to make that point.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of our Trojans, OJ.
Yep.
Bourbon Street, and they are refurbishing the Great Hole French Quarter down there as we look at Hobie Brenner, third year out of USC.
Right on.
And there's Ken Stabler with the marked contrast. The old and the young of it.
Bad play by Darrell Ray, an All-Pro who's not playing at all well this year.
Preston Brown is deep with Kirk Springs. Springs deep in the end zone. Wisely settles in for the touchback.
Let's take a look at this sack. Now, here's something I think the officials should look for in protecting the quarterback. Not the fact that Marty Lyons hit him late. He hit him all right, but watch what he does there. He put all that weight, approximately 265 pounds, and driving him into the turf. I think the officials should look at that a little more closely and call him roughing the passer penalty.
Particularly when you're dealing with the 37-year-old octogenarian out there. First down and 10, the Jets. We have 3:56 remaining in the first quarter. Freeman McNeil, the single step back. Lamb Jones in motion. Todd goes to Jones. Flanker screen, and by the time he works it back to the line of scrimmage, he's buried. He'll get about a yard and a half out of it. Dave Waymer was there defensively, the fine cornerback, youngster out of Notre Dame. Richard Todd.
Well, the
Had
Jets
those great days, and Howard mentioned that championship game against Miami a year ago when he threw 5 touchdown passes. He's a fragile youngster. No one ever questioned the man's courage. No one ever questioned the potential greatness. But then the Jets turn around and draft another quarterback in the first round. I quite frankly think it shook Richard from the day that Ken O'Brien was taken in that first round. Second down and 9. Freeman McNeil, and he just explodes over the right side. He'll have the first down out over the 30-yard line. The NFL's leading rusher from a year ago who's been out 7 weeks.
He's beginning to feel himself now. You can see that in, to use Frank's word, the explosion. This is a remarkable back, no question about it.
Well, if he gets that much room to get through the line, he's going to wreak havoc on those defensive backs. And when they come up to make the tackles, when they start thinking about that, that's when Wesley Walker and Lamb Jones will be able to get behind them for the big passes that they tried earlier.
McNeil could have been the John Riggins a year ago. In 3 playoff games, he had 350 yards. On first and 10, Todd is back. And this time trying to get it to Wesley Walker, and he was covered smartly there by Dave Waymer. Todd tried to get it to the outside, and Wesley Walker couldn't handle it.
Well, they're doubling Wesley. You can see that. And no more bags, no more ain'ts. Look out, Howard. Here come the Saints. Okay.
Now, you said they're doubling Wesley. It seems sort of strange right now. He seems a little out of sync with Todd because he's gone to him 4 times now. And Wesley was open 2 times.
The guy who's open every play is Lamb Jones, waving crazily. Give me the ball.
On second down and 10, Freeman McNeil, right side, breaks the tackle and out of the 35-yard line. Good, strong running to the 37. Pickup of 6.
Boy, does McNeil make his job a lot easier. When you're in doubt, you don't know which play to call, you just hand the ball to McNeil.
Of course, McNeil now coming off limping a little bit, but the thing we were concerned with, he had a severe shoulder separation early in the season, missed the 7 games we spoke of, and that appears to be just fine. He's taken some shots already tonight. Third down and 4, inside 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The Saints on top 14-7. To Todd, and he tripped up, and down he goes. It was the blitz. It worked. Ricky Jackson gets his 7th sack. They call it 6.5, but we'll call it 7. And the Jets will have to punt. Ricky Jackson, an unusual linebacker in the sense, well, maybe it's unusual defensive play because he comes from the strong side so often, and you don't often see that.
He's been very underrated, having to play at Pitt on the other side of the line from Hugh Green. And he led that team in tackling one year, but Hugh Green was the man there. He got the ink.
Jack Ramsey is back on 4th down. Jeff Groth of the Saints has positioned himself inside his 30-yard line. Saints go for it, but Ramsey gets it off. Groth from the 32-yard line. And works his way back, and he is nailed at the 32-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. The Saints 34-yard punt by Chuck Ramsey. And we have 1:02 remaining in the first quarter. Good game.
Thus far.
Hasn't been one penalty.
How's my volume down there?
This is a rout. This is a total rout.
Oh, thanks for the encouragement. Not bad. Not it's great, juice. All right. Your mama.
I'll bet you on it.
Yeah. Oh, my aching back.
John Tice is in there. We got the 2 tight ends, I guess, huh? Benner. 285. Yeah.
The Jets haven't given up anything, have they?
Yeah.
First quarter.
The loud crowd, the Superdome, a magnificent structure here in New Orleans. Opened in 1975. The Saints and the Saints fans have been waiting for the team that will take them to the playoffs. Frankly, they've been waiting for a team to break 500. They've only had that once in 16 years. And they feel this man is the man to lead them there. First down and 10, 32-yard line. George Rogers, left side. Steps inside. Lance Snell out over the 35 to the 36-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. Upended there by Kenny Schroy. George Rogers running well tonight.
Yeah, he could have got a few more yards out of that run. I think he underestimated the block he was going to get from Stan Block. Stan turned upfield, and they made a good block on Kitty Neal.
Well,
Next week,
Pete Johnson's hot. He had some game yesterday. We'll see him next week. The Bengals revived against the Dolphins.
Draw play, read by Lance Snell. And it was George Rogers getting to the line of scrimmage and a leave. Kenny Stabler in a passing situation of third down and 6.
I think George Rogers went the wrong way that time.
That could be the final play of the first quarter. And out comes George Rogers, great running back. Set the NFL rookie rushing record when he came up as a first-round draft pick in '81. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back with second quarter action in a moment.
I'm going to experiment this quarter.
Marino, did he go all the way? Yesterday, Marino.
Yeah. Kenny will now throw.
Who played good for him, Bobby? Who else?
Quick short one.
They know what they're doing. They've established a nice, tight running game.
Yeah,
they established a short passing game. They've done something. The other team's done nothing. It's amazing when the players know what they're doing.
Doug
Betters.
Did he get some more yesterday?
They were playing a college team, and not a good one.
Who they play against?
Baltimore.
Third down and 6. Get on your tight end, Chester. Whoever it is. They're linebackering him. Of course, that's how he got a touchdown, too. 82, by the way. Saints have averaged 29% on third down and 6. The NFL average, as you can see, 44%, and that's what the Saints confront now for the first play of the second quarter. The ball at the Saints' 36-yard line. They're up by 7. Stabler fires, and it's complete. This is Rich Motti, who does a lot of things for the Saints. He'll return punts, he'll return kickoffs, and he has got a first down in Jet territory.
Excellent protection and that quick release. That is the trademark of Stables. There, the intermediate pass and no coverage.
Well, they did a good job of running Hobie Brenner down, hooking him over the middle to hold the 2 inside backers. And Malty found a little area behind them, and ball was thrown perfectly.
Inside the 42-yard line of the Jets. George Rogers. Rogers just uses sheer weight and speed for a pickup of a long 3. It'll be second down and 7. Let's take a look at the numbers for the first quarter.
Okay, New Orleans clearly dominant. Only the intercept for the touchdown by Mel, providing the Jets with their score. New Orleans having established in the first quarter where the Jets did. Established the running game, established the short, quick passing game. That has become Stabler's other trademark.
Stabler looks out over a second down and 7. Adjusts his setbacks. Wayne Wilson and George Rogers. Inside handoff goes to Wilson, and he is right in the arms of Marty Lyons, and Marty Lyons almost got the handoff.
And right there with him was Klecko.
There's the loss on the play.
Well, thus far, Marty Lyons is having an excellent game. He seemed to be right there on that play. Just wasn't blocked.
They have reactivated Abdul Salam, who is an outstanding player, especially against the run, and who worked next to Lyons with great efficiency the past 2 years. Been sidelined, injured reserve, rotator cuff.
41-yard line, third down and 10. Stabler has the blitz. It was Johnny Lynn. He tried to dump it off to Wayne Wilson. It's incomplete, and the Saints will have to punt.
That was funny. Wayne Wilson missed his block. He was supposed to pick up the blitzing corner or outside backer. He missed the block, and Stabler saw it. He knew he wouldn't have time to go downfield, and he tried to dump it off to Wilson, who was standing there saying to himself, darn, I missed the block. Didn't see the ball.
It happens.
That's Erkslavin.
I know it. Missing block, I know a little something about, Howard.
Erkslavin comes on to do the punting. Those great years. Remember, back at the University of Texas, drafted number 1, 79. Thought to be a punter and a field goal kicker. Hurt his back. That ended the field goal duties. Turned into a superb punter. Hangs it high, catches the end zone, and the Jets will bring it out to the 20-yard line. 41-yard punt. And a net gain, however, of only 21 yards following the touchback. The Jets have the football back. They're down by 7. Realize we haven't had a penalty flag. Isn't that nice?
You will.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, when they come in abundance.
Every clutch play to the Jets, you'll have a penalty.
Seems like we left off here, Howard.
New Orleans been penalized more.
Why? Do you want that?
Six and 5, New Orleans Saints. A victory tonight, and they move into a tie in the NFC West with the Rams and the 49ers. The Jets playing for pride more than anything else while they are mathematically alive in the AFC East. They trail the Miami Dolphins, Miami 8-4. First down and 10, the Jets at their own 20-yard line. McNeil, right side. Big opening, gets the block out there. And McNeil will be close to a first down, dependent upon where they mark it. They mark it over the 30, first down and 10. Dave Waymer made the stop.
He is another one of those backs, like Dickerson, but without maybe the physical assets of young Eric in terms of size and strength, but he's one of those backs who chews up yardage. He always gets more yardage than you think he's getting.
I agree with you, Howard. I think he may be a slightly better tight inside runner than Dickerson, but Dickerson, I think, is the premier back without a doubt in the league today. But if you let McNeil get open like that a few more times, you're going to see something happen as he gets his timing back.
First down and 10. The ball just over the 30-yard line for the Jets. McNeil right side again. Breaks it back against the grain. Gets 3 yards of it. It'll be second down and 7. Derlin Moore, who has been a Saint for 11 years, and that says a lot about character because he's had 6 head coaches. Saints have been in the National Football League 16 years. They've had 8 head coaches here.
Well,
Moore has gone through 6 of them.
He got 4 on that, Frank, and he got it with that quick acceleration that the Juice talked about earlier. He really busts through a hole.
He's beginning to get those defensive backs thinking a little bit.
Second down and 7. The down the Saints like to blitz on. Out of time for Richard Todd. He dumps it off to Bruce Harper, and Harper, who has played superb football after coming back from arthroscopic surgery, the 3rd game of the season, is short of the first down by considerable yardage. We'll get the specialists coming onto the field. The Saints bring out another down lineman, 2 deep defenders. Harper will stay in.
Well, on that play, you got a good look at the Saints defense. Their linebackers, there aren't any big names there, but they are super. The minute Harper turned around, 2 of them were right there waiting for him.
They've got some guys who are names, though maybe not publicized in the
That's
big
the point
city.
I'm making.
Third down and 5. They pick up the blitz, and Todd fires it in and out of the hands of Lamb Jones. Lamb Jones, whom the Jets gave 2 number 1 draft picks back in 1980.
So again, they couldn't put it together, Frank, and they've had ample opportunity. And in effect, their offense has been reduced to the dump-off pass. That time, Walker was double covered deep. He couldn't throw to Wesley. And Lamb, well, he wasn't that clear then, and couldn't hold on to the football, and the pass wasn't that well thrown.
Well,
otherwise, it was a great play.
Well, it appears that they aren't establishing any one thing. They're trying to do a little bit of everything, where the Jets are establishing a running game and a short pass.
Ramsey, again, it doesn't turn over. And again, Jeff Groth will have the opportunity for the return. Gets to the 35-yard line. New Orleans, reasonably good field position on a 36-yard effort by Chuck Ramsey and a 7-yard return. A sold-out Superdome, and we'll return here in a moment.
Well, you don't want us to criticize, every time you say something, I'm feeling like I'm criticizing because it's a hard team not to criticize.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, you can't.
They bought out the remaining seats of the Black
Can't do a telecast that way. You just can't.
Yeah, I got you. Picked up by Houston, right? Yeah, I should have done that.
Anything else?
Yeah. Well, who's in the truck? Who's running?
Well,
I understand that, but you're the
producer.
producer. Mm-hmm.
The Superdome in New Orleans, the home of our affiliate here, WVUE. They are having their 30th anniversary. We congratulate them on that, and the New Orleans fans also congratulate them because they bought the remaining seats here at the Superdome to sell it out and get the blackout lifted. New Orleans has a lead, 14-7, the ball at the 36-yard line. Rogers following Guyjon, and Lance Snell collects Rogers after a gain of a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8.
Well, crowd thought he was hit out of bounds, thus the boos. However, no call in that direction. In the meantime, In the interests of journalism, following points should be noted. The Jets, a troubled team. The franchise removal to Jersey, one factor. Another factor, defections to the other league. And, of course, the departure unexpectedly of Dwayne Crutchfield, who had appeared to be a promising runner.
2nd down and 8. Stabler back. Hangs it to the big tall one.
Right in his
Incomplete.
hand.
Intended for Tyrone Young. He is 6'6", and 192-pound rookie out of Florida. Incomplete.
Free agent, and not a bad player despite that month.
They like to use him down near the goal line. He has 7 receptions. He has 3 touchdowns. They call it tie in the sky, and it's been effective for them.
Oilers picked up Crutchfield.
He
New
was, of
York
course,
Brit
the
medium.
Jets' leading ground gainer. Freeman McNeil came back. Joe Walton says he's not in our future plans. They released him. It was after the trade date. They couldn't trade him. 3rd down and 8. Stabler. And it's difficult for Stabler at the ripe old age of 37 to be chased out of the pocket and throw that football with anything on it.
With anything on it, let me show you. That shows experience right there. A young quarterback may have attempted to complete this pass. Believe me, Ken Stabler was not trying to complete that pass. He was throwing behind the receiver and behind the defender.
Well, times have changed, haven't they?
Ah, that's the good life.
Looked like Obi in that one shot over there. Huh?
Ertz Laban on. Kurt Springs has dropped for the Jets with a lot of respect for Ertz Laban. He's way back inside his own 15-yard line.
He really gets hang time. The manner of Roby and Stark.
Beautiful punt. Springs knew what he was doing. He takes the ball at the 10. He's got it open on the right side. And Springs, fine return out over the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st down Jets. They have good field position. That was a 51-yard punt by Ertz Laban.
It's a fine return by the young man from the Miami University of Ohio. As you look at the return, and for a change, we don't have a penalty call, which we've had so often on kick runs this year.
We have not had a penalty flag thus far this evening. And the Jets, trailing by 7 with 9:47 remaining in the first half, have the football inside their own 42-yard line. And we'll be returning to the Super Bowl in just a moment. Super Bowl? Oh, it's somebody's Super Bowl. Oh, well.
I must tell you, the Saints are not impressive.
Well, the Saints is not the team that's going to come out and may have big plays. They're going to wear you down and beat you late in the football game.
They may not win this game.
Yeah, they may not. I personally felt Monday night the Jets normally play with some emotion that the Jets would win this game. All the Jets has to do is play with emotion. I disagree with you. Say they're not playing with any emotion tonight. They're going up against one of the more physical teams they'll ever play. And I think they're playing.
Jets are clearly a better personnel.
Yeah, but they're playing against a team that's hitting.
The Superdome in New Orleans, 272 feet high. It seats over 70,000 for football, as Howard can tell you, many, many more for a championship fight. You've broadcast a few from here, haven't you,
Yep.
sir?
No muss, no muss.
42-yard line of the Jets. Mickey Schuler in motion. Mr. Todd, flanker screen, gets the block out in front as Wesley Walker moves out over the 45-yard line.
That's the first connection with Walker tonight, and that, in the current Jets offensive scheme of things, is what the great Wesley has been reduced to. Quick sideline hitch and bang. And he does not, upon reception of such a pass, have the strength of an Otis Taylor, for instance.
It was a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. They marked it right at the 45-yard line. Marion Barber, number 31, in there with Freeman McNeil for the Jets. Freeman McNeil. And McNeil, fine running. had his eye on the first down marker, broke it back inside, gets the first down inside the 47-yard line.
Two pretty good players, Gastineau and Lyons.
One of the reasons O.J. Simpson will not be coming out of retirement. People like that.
Think you could outrun Gastineau at this stage of your career, O.J.?
Oh, I think I can get him for about 40 yards. After that, I'd be in a little bit of trouble.
He could always beat you in the 100.
We watched Gastineau at 265 pounds on a 10 flat 100 out of the super teams. First down and 10 Jets. Wesley Walker. And Walker gets the first down at the 30-yard line. He was single coverage. Richard Todd read it, changed it off, and he had Walker working against Johnny Poe in single coverage, was on target. First down, Jets at the 30-yard line.
Now they look as if they're beginning to put things together.
Watch this. Walker has a move that he didn't know he had. See, if he just took off, if he took off, he'd have had it. He was surprised the guy ran by him like that.
Jets with great speed in the flank. Wesley Walker, and of course, on the other side, Lamb Jones, the gold medalist, 76 in the 400-meter relay team. Again, a lot of time for Richard Todd. Finally, has to come back underneath to Mickey Schuler, who's to the 27-yard line. A gain of about 4. It'll be second down and 6. Dennis Winston, the former Pittsburgh Steeler and the Saints MVP of a year ago, was there to make the stop.
Dennis Winston has found himself here in New Orleans. And Frank can tell you why. The man is playing on the inside, and there he is enormously effective. At Pittsburgh, on the outside, he lacked that degree of effectiveness.
Makes a difference. Effective when Jack Lambert was hurt in the middle.
That's right.
Some like that.
Makes a difference, though. Lawrence Taylor could tell you that.
They got him for a 6th-round draft pick. Second down and 6. Inside handoff to Freeman McNeil, and good pursuit. Jim Kovacs has stepped across the line of scrimmage on the blitz. Got him behind the pulling man and pulled McNeil down from behind.
We're talking about these linebackers on the Saints. Isn't it amazing? Every time they run the ball, there's a 50 number on him somewhere. These guys are really tough.
We hear so much about negative things about pro football players. Jim Kovacs, a Phi Beta Kappa from Kentucky, in 1984, he will graduate from their medical school. During the season now, he is making calls with the team doctor, which he is being credited. He's quite a young man, the inside linebacker, number 52 for the Saints. Third down and 6. Todd, Bruce Harper out of the backfield, and Harper
I want to see
the first down.
I want to see where he marks this, though, Frank.
He's going to mark it inside the 32.
Well, I think he didn't mark it where his feet were. He marked it, I think, where the ball was when his knee hit the ground. Or when he was touched when he was down. That was interesting in yesterday's game at Atlanta.
Now I want to watch this call.
Fourth down, the Jets will go for it.
He's got to go for it. This is what he did the first game of the season when they beat San Diego 41-29. And it was probably Joe Walton's finest coaching game. He had his team beautifully prepared for the opponent. And 4 times in this kind of situation he went for it and succeeded.
3 tight ends. Richard Todd got his hands up in the air. He doesn't like the people he has. They're fouled up, and he's going to have to use a timeout. The personnel was not in there for the play that was sent in. Well, maybe he was complaining now of the noise. In any event, Richard Todd backed away from the center. And there's wild gesticulation on the sidelines from the coaching platoon of the Jets.
Who dat? They're starting with the chant. Who dat?
That'll only bring up the volume considerably for Richard Todd. Now even the Saints players are trying to quiet the crowd. 4th down and 1. Scott Turkey. Flag is down, the first one tonight.
Let me tell you, on that play, Dave Waymer made one excellent play by defensive back. He came across the line. He got underneath the blocking.
Wait a minute. I think this call is against.
I think they lined up
yes.
offside.
They lined up offside is right, Frank, and you can see it.
So the first penalty, flag of the night, will get a first down for the Jets. Go ahead, Juice. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, Waymer made an excellent play. This is a tough football team. One thing about Bum Phillips, he demands physical football from.
number 75. 75.
You can see Bruce Clark, number 75. He's lined up over the ball, his head well over the ball, and it gets the Jets a first down. We'll get back in a moment. It was first down and 10. The Jets at the 16-yard line. And a big surge right in the middle of the line, and another flag. This one going down late. This is going to be some kind of...
I think it's going to be roughing on Dennis Winston. He got a little carried away. The ball carrier was down, and he started pushing him back until he got hurt.
Face mask.
You'll watch him. He'll put the forehand. I don't think he grabbed the face mask. He'll put the forearm in the guy's face, and he was pushing him pretty
Referee
unnecessarily.
Referee tonight is Pat Haggerty, and he marks it off inside the 10-yard line. Here's his call.
Face mask, number 74.
Right on, Duke.
Number 74. First.
It's Derlin Moore, number 74. That's Freeman McNeil. And there it is, coming in late. And it was Derlin Moore who got the hand in there. Down remains the same, so it's first down. Ball at the 8-yard line. Freeman McNeil steps to the outside. He's so quick. It spins down inside the 5-yard line. That'll be a Jets first down.
And it was the spin that picked up the extra yardage, executing the first down.
It'll be first down, goal to go.
Man.
And we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
Well, we're
inside
down
6 minutes remaining in the first half, and it is the New Orleans Saints over the Jets 14-7. But the Jets now have the football. First down, goal to go at the 4-yard line.
And this is tough territory going against the Saints. As I was saying earlier, Bum Phillips, the man, all his players, defensive backs, receivers, and everybody play good aggressive football, and that's why they play such good defense.
Freeman McNeil. And McNeil trying to surge into the end zone. They keep him out. It was Russell Gary coming up there from the strong safety position to keep McNeil out of the end zone. It'll be second down, goal to go.
That was a good example why Freeman McNeil is one of the premier backs in football today. Most backs would have been stopped at the line of scrimmage.
You're exactly right. He is some football player.
If you just joined us, it was George Rogers getting the scoring underway. 14-yard touchdown run following a turnover and interception. Lance Snell came right back. He intercepted Kenny Stabler, took it in for 32 yards. That tied it up. And then Kenny Stabler hit Hobie Brenner, the tight end, on a 38-yard touchdown. That's where we are right now, and it's about to adjust. Richard Todd, quarterback sneak. It looked like there was movement before the ball was snapped, but there are no flags.
I tell you, Derlin Moore did one super job in there. He penetrated. He was 1.5 yards in the backfield.
I thought there was movement. I agree with Frank. I don't know whom it would be charged against.
It would have been more if there was any movement because he was back there.
You think so?
Derlin Moore's had some great years here. He's been here 11 years. When Bum came in and moved out from the 4-3 to the 3-4, Derlin Moore had to go to that new spot, the nose tackle. And you're right, O.J. He seems to improve almost with every outing.
This is a situation for Scott Durkee.
No, I would quarterback sneak it again. I wouldn't run any risk of bad handoff.
Third down, goal to go.
Guess what, Howard?
Marion Barber. Marion Barber's second attempt from the line of scrimmage for the year gets the touchdown, and the Jets are a conversion point away from a tie.
Interesting story, Barber. Second-round draft choice a couple of years back, struck down in training camp by John Woodring. Concussion, long time recovering. But that's his first pro touchdown, by the way. The late Buddy Young, when alive, said to me when the Jets drafted him, I consider him the best all-around back in college football. He had played for Minnesota. I never forgot Buddy Young telling me that.
Pat Leahy to tie it up. And with 4 minutes remaining in the first half, we have a 14-14 tie in a game that is ever so important to the New Orleans Saints. We'll be returning in a moment. Yeah, we couldn't get it in down there. Let me look at it. Huh?
They're all bunched up for the quarterback sneak again.
Yeah.
Barber just breezed it. Now it's not a bad game.
Second rank?
Hey, this is a good played game. I mean, it's a well-played game thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's it? Who's back? Wayne Wilson and Jimmy Rogers. You gonna go after the kickoff? Okay. Don't get in anything, guys. The Jets have tied it up with 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Marion Barber, actually that was his 10th rushing attempt in a career, as Howard outlined, that began 3 years ago. Set back by injuries as a rookie, and he did not play that much last year. Pat Lane hammers this one, and it's taken by Wayne Wilson. He bobbles it, picks it up at the 7-yard line. And Wilson out of bounds near the 21-yard line. It'll be first down and 10, New Orleans. I want to remind you, coming up this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, NCAA college football Friday, 2:30 Eastern Time, the traditional one. Army goes against Navy, and they'll do it for the first time in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Then on Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, the second-ranked team in the nation, Texas, against Texas A&M. And this is, of course, a great Southwest Conference rivalry. The Longhorns undefeated. They're 10-0 and currently ranked, as I said, number 2 in the nation. They're Cotton Bowl bound. And then, on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, number 3 ranked Auburn goes against Alabama, one of the great rivalries in the Southeast Conference. And that should be a beauty. College football this weekend here on ABC. On first down and 10. Bobbled. George Rogers bobbled the ball, scrambling for it. And apparently Rogers gets back for the possession. There is a loss of 3 yards.
It's a little surprising to see George fumble out of that eye formation. You know, when the defense is getting penetration, those eye backs, you want to get your eyes downfield as soon as possible. And that was a classic case of a guy looking at the defense before he got the ball.
I'm going to correct myself on college football. I mentioned the 3:30 game that I mentioned on Saturday is actually December the 3rd Saturday. Auburn, 3rd ranked in the nation, goes against Alabama. That could produce a 3-way tie in the conference should Alabama win that one. Here goes Oki Gajan out over the 20-yard line, back to the original line of scrimmage, +1. It'll be deep yardage for Kenny Stabler, 3rd down and 9.
3:09 and counting down in the first half. Scored knotted 14 all. Pretty good football game up to this point.
Time of possession heavily favored and weighted to the Jets here in the second quarter. They've had it 8-13. New Orleans has had it 2:46.
0 for 8 on 3rd and 9.
That's why they're 27th in the NFL passing. They're going to make this one. Jeff Groth comes down with it. Stabler hung it up. Groth had to wait a little bit. Darrell Ray was back there with him. But the Saints get a first down out over their own 45-yard line.
Groth,
a 24-yard completion.
Groth, not the fastest receiver in football, but a very clever one. Real big league performer.
Yeah, he's there for Eddie Biletnikoff.
Uppercut with Biletnikoff, Howard Twilley, receivers like those. As you can see, not a big size. And that's Stabler at his best. The quick release, just drop back 3-4 steps. Never mind the 7-step drop back in the pocket. Get rid of it.
Not a D pattern, but a medium pattern. He throws that ball as well as anybody.
The intermediate pass and the 2-minute warning.
Stabler waits it out, gives the 2-minute warning. He'll walk over and visit with a man who has such deep affection for this grizzly old veteran. Lum Phillips said, he's my man in the game we have to win tonight.
Pretty smooth first half thus far. Pretty smooth first half thus far. A
Sorry
great
about
game,
that.
but
I didn't see that December 3rd business. Oh.
Hey, all you have to do is get on their ass a little bit.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Who told you? Who told you that? Is that right? That'll make the.
Let's make sure it's confirmed. You may be telling.
17 consecutive playoffs, or something like that? 16 out of 17. Yeah. We're tied at 14. The New Orleans Saints against the New York Jets. 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Sellout crowd on their feet with almost every play. The Saints, as I've mentioned, have never had a winning season. They feel they've got a team that can do it. If they win tonight, they move into a tie with the 49ers and the Rams in the NFC West. And interestingly enough, should the Saints lose tonight, the Dallas Cowboys will be guaranteed mathematically at least a wild card entrance into the playoffs. On the 47-yard line, Stabler is back on 1st and 10, throws the ball behind Rich Motti, incomplete.
He threw that ball behind because he knew that number 99 right there, Gastineau, was about to get him. Watch this.
Well, no matter what they say about the Jets, they can't say Gastineau didn't put out this year. He's had an excellent season. 13 sacks, but numerous times he's done that. He's been in the quarterback's face, forcing him to throw the ball sooner than he would like to.
It's been off mentioned. A hurry can be as effective as a sack.
2nd down and 10. And Stabler once again has to throw it away. And this time I think we're going to get a roughing call against Kenny Neal. And Stabler has been taken to this artificial surface several times severely tonight.
Kenny Neal hit him right in his head, and that's a no-no today in the NFL.
He's being talked to by his teammate because he did a stupid thing.
Watch
and he knows
Stabler's helmet. Watch his helmet right here.
Woo! Ah.
Actually, then he tried to keep Kenny on his feet, but nevertheless they mark it off, roughing the passer. It'll be 1st down inside the 40-yard line.
You honestly feel he was trying to...
Number 77, defense. Roughing the passer.
You honestly
1st down.
You honestly feel he was trying to keep him on his feet, Frank? He looks like he was trying to bury him in the turf to me.
Mistakes like those have plagued the Jets all year long.
38-yard line. 1:51 remaining in the half. Gaijon and Wilson with the setbacks. Gaijon, he does a lot of things. I mentioned that. This time, overthrowing the intended receiver, Gene Goodlow. Fine coverage back there. It was Bobby Jackson and Davlin Mullen both in there in the prevent defense for the Jets.
Well, it wasn't a beautiful spiral, but that ball traveled about 50 yards in the air.
It did, but it waffled. You're right.
Well, Marino's passes waffle, but they get there.
Yeah. Do that the way you used it.
I watched a youngster yesterday who's got a future. Blackledge.
Oh, he can throw.
He came in late. He took some great shots. He kept completing the ball. Moved the Kansas City team against Dallas, even though they were well out of it. They got a 2nd down and 10, 38-yard line. Saints on a drive, aided by a roughing the passer call. Blitz is on again, and Stabler should draw a flag for throwing this one away. No, they're going to say he was in the arms of the defender, Lance Mel, on the blitz, and he is taken down all the way back to the 45-yard line.
Well, we know Ken Stabler is not a scrambler. He was a little luckier. Watch this ball hit Marty Lyons right in the arm. Could have caught that ball and been off to the races.
Well, that takes about a field goal range unless they can get it back on this down. But there's Mel again. He had the intercept for the touchdown. This is a big play, ball play, as he proved in the playoffs last year.
3rd down, 27. Kenny Stabler will be careful with it. He does not want to turn it over. The Jets have time to work with. They have 3 timeouts. In fact, he'll come with the draw play, Wayne Wilson. Wilson inside the 35-yard line of the Jets, 16 yards short of that 1st down. That'll bring up 4th down. We'll see the punting unit.
Well, the Saints were going pretty good for a while, and all of a sudden they began to unravel there a little bit. A couple of penalties, a couple of fumbles. They've really hurt themselves more. Well, you got to give the Jets credit. They've been getting the pass rush on them.
That's right. The pass rush has been the Jets' key. And Bum was afraid of that pass rush at the production meeting this morning. His great respect.
Erxleben letting that clock run down, getting rid of all the seconds he can before They turn the ball over to the Jets. I don't think they'll even snap it before he gets the 5-yard penalty. It won't be necessary because he'll still be able to kick for the out of bounds inside the 20. Or Bert Slavin, with that great hang time, could put it up high and send his outside men down under it. In any event, 31 seconds now remaining in the half. The penalty declined by the Jets.
Well, with the Jets not really being out of it, it's going to be interesting to see with 31 seconds, will they be content going in that half, or will they play defensive offense and not try to get it downfield and score?
They will play the latter.
Kirk Slavin. Bearcats called for by Kirk Springs, close to his own 20-yard line. 24-yard effort by Kirk Slavin, but that's about all he wanted. And we'll be back with more football after this message from the National Football League.
Now, the Jets have won 4 games, right?
That's Marvin Powell, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yes, it is. Jets have won 4 games.
And lost 7.
And there's no reason for them not to try to get down the field and score right now.
Well, Theismann could score twice. So the sideline hitch to Monk. He'll break it for 40. Now you got a field goal. You kick that. You kick off. Onside kick.
Well, with 23 seconds left, that may be a little prohibitive.
They'll run it out.
The preceding announcement brought to you by the National Football League and, of course, Marvin Powell, the all-pro right tackle for the New York Jets. Back to action. 23 seconds remain in the half. The Jets have the ball at their own 20-yard line. They have a first down and 10. Walker is left. Lamb Jones right. Freeman McNeil up the middle, out over the 25. A gain of 6. The seconds ticking off. And let's see if they want to stop the clock or they're content to take it in tied at 14. And apparently they are content to do just that, as they have not used the timeout. Halftime coming up. We want to remind you, during our highlights, a couple of interesting looks at a fascinating play yesterday. Billy White Shoes Johnson on the Hail Mary, defeating the San Francisco 49ers as the clock went out. We'll be back from this after a word from our stations.
Hey, Howard, you were right, son.
Oh, come on. I know this team inside out.
At 4 and 7, throw a bomb, hell.
How many yards for McNeil? Ask him how many yards for McNeil. Jeez. Okay. All right. He is some player. He is a great player. Bob who? Oh, that's... I know. I need that. That's my billboard. I'm going to get to this, immediately, so be ready. Can you imagine having personnel like that and being 4 and 7? They should be ahead in this game. Unbelievable. Start playing some of those interviews in the second half. The best one is Gaston. The score here in New Orleans at halftime, 14-all, Jets against the Saints. Tonight's halftime highlights are being brought to you by Computerland. Computerland, where you can make friends with the future. Milwaukee County Stadium, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Lions against the Pack, and what a day for number 20, Billy Sims. The stats speak for themselves. Let's pick up first quarter action. Zip, zip. Pack threatening. Dickey back to pass. Gets rid of it just in time. Hits John Jefferson, 83. 6 yards. Touchdown, 7-zip, Green Bay. Back came the Lions. Hipple handing off to Billy Sims. 18 of those 189 yards on this play, setting up a field goal. Pack 7, Lions 3. Moving to the second quarter. Pack 13, Lions 3. Less than a minute left in the half. Black back to punt. Fumbles the snap. Tries to pass. But no, the ball picked off by 62, Jim Laughlin. He returns it 30 yards to the Lions 8. That set up. Pack touchdown. 20-3. Pack at the half. Fourth quarter now. 20-13, Green Bay. Hipple back to throw. And he hits the 10-year pro from Amherst, Freddie Scott. That's a touchdown, 20-20. Game in overtime. Second effort at a field goal in the overtime by Eddie Murray. This one good from 37 yards out. And Detroit wins 23-20 in overtime. Britt Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. And it's the Raiders against the Bills. Picking up in the fourth quarter. A laugher for the Raiders at that point, 24-3. In comes Matt Coughlin for the injured Joe Ferguson. Hits the brilliant tight end rookie from Notre Dame, Tony Hunter, number 87, 22 yards. Touchdown, 24-10 Raiders. On the very next series, problem. Ray Guy back to punt, but no, he can't. Has to run with the ball. Tackled, as you see there, for a loss. That set up another Buffalo touchdown to make it 24-17 Raiders. The kickoff following. Joe Danello. Squib kick. Ball bounces around. Finally recovered by 67. Darrell Caldwell. Now you see it bouncing around. And the ball picked up there by 67. Darrell Caldwell. That set up Matt Coughlin. This kid was hot. Deep downfield. To Perry Tuttle from Clemson. A touchdown, and it's 24-all with 4:30 remaining in the game. Then, seconds left. Chris Paul. Field goal, and the Raiders win another toughie. This time, 27-24. Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. Niners against the Falcons. Second quarter action, 14-7 Niners. Montana had a good day, as you can see. Back to pass, throws to Ronaldo Nehemiah. What a hit, and out cold, Ronaldo Nehemiah. In the meantime, the ball fumbled, picked up by Blaine Gason. He goes down the sideline, and he goes all the way in for the touchdown. It's 14-14 at the half. What a turn of events. Fourth quarter, 17-14 Niners. Bartkowski handing off there to Gerald Riggs. the big one from Arizona State, second-year man. He rumbles all the way on a short yardage play, breaks away, touchdown, 21-17 Falcons. And that was the score with 1:30 left in the game. Joe Montana dropping back to pass. He's forced to run. Watch. And run he does. Great mobility on the part of the quarterback from Notre Dame. Number 16, Montana, goes in for the touchdown. And so it's the lead for the 49ers, 24-21. And then, with time for one play remaining from the Niners 47, Bartkowski throws deep downfield, left side of the field. And the scramble ensues. Watch closely. The ball tipped. White Shoes Johnson, the ever-present one, picks it off. Gets away from one would-be tackler. Hit there. And is he in or not? Yes. The official rules he's in for the touchdown for the victory. Look at it from another angle. Again, Bartkowski, back to pass. Desperation play. You've seen them before, practiced by the Cowboys and by the Vikings particularly. And there it is. Coming down, the ball tip, and there's White Shoes at exactly the right place, exactly the right time. Now the question, did he get in or didn't he? And the official rules that he got in. So White Shoes Johnson torpedoes the San Francisco 49ers. And he knows about being in the right place at the right time.
Well, I don't know. I think it's an act of God. Well, I know it's an act of God to be at the right place at the right time. And a lot of prayers on the sideline, because you can hear the guys praying. I'm on the field, you hear them praying just about. But, you know, it's just a matter of just being in the right place at the right time and trying to stay with the ball. You know, the ironic thing about it is that I slipped before I caught the ball. I had just gotten up. I don't know who it was who hit the ball. But it came right in my hands, and I was still surprised. I mean, I go out there like I'm going to catch everything.
Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. The Oilers against the Bengals. And Pete Johnson, the thundering fullback, had himself a day. 137 yards. First quarter, 0-0. Kenny Anderson, who had a fine day. The precision touch back with him. Going into the end zone. Number 89, Dan Ross. Touchdown, 7-0 Bengals. Second quarter, 17-3 Cincinnati. Anderson handing off to Johnson, and look at Johnson. Right up the middle. And he cakewalks in for the score. And Cincinnati went on to win it 38-10. They're a hot ball club at the moment. The Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida, and it's the Colts against the Dolphins. And Super Duper, that's what they call Mark Duper, had that kind of a day receiving. Pick up in the second quarter, 10-0 Miami. The rookie, Marino, from the University of Pittsburgh, back to pass. Throwing deep downfield, and you won't see a prettier one than this. And there is Super Duper, 17-0 Miami. On the very next series, Ron Stark will punt. There he is from his own end zone. Watch the ball bouncing into the hands of number 83, Mark Clayton. And look at Clayton go. Right through the seam there, and then running left, picking up blockers as he goes. All the way, 60 yards, touchdown, and Miami won it 37-0. So the hot Bengals against the always stable Dolphins next Monday night. Be with us.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll be through. I'm gonna move through them fairly quickly. I'll try and get it on December the 3rd. Head's not too good tonight, Bobby. Back in the Superdome, halftime activities winding down. Southern University Marching Band, Dr. Isaac Greggs performing. We have a 14-14 tie between the Jets and a game the Saints feel they must win if they are going to have a shot at their divisional title. Reminder, coming up College football this Friday, November the 25th, 2:30 Eastern Time, the Classic. They get together, the 84th meeting, Army and Navy, and they're going to play it for the first time on the West Coast in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Then on Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, number 2 ranked Texas goes against Texas A&M. This, of course, one of the great Southwest Conference rivalries. And then on Saturday, December the 3rd, 3:30 Eastern Time, third-ranked Auburn against Alabama. And another traditional rivalry in the Southeast Conference. And if Ray Perkins can get his boys together and beat Auburn, and that won't be easy, there'll be a 3-way tie for the Southeast title between Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia. We're about ready to get the second half underway. We'll be back in a moment. Boy, Stabler looks old, doesn't he?
What is Richard got?
Oh, yeah, let him in. They're great. What's his name? Do you know which one? Is it Larry? Nice to see you again. Love you guys.
The place kicker, Bridge, came in to see him.
Really? What's he doing?
Huh?
What's he doing? Is he out of it?
Join the other league.
Nobody can get out of it anymore, can they? No. I don't think you guys are. You haven't. You've got you open, Howard? No, you're not.
Well, I hear you.
Now
okay, now I do.
Yeah.
I thought that was Dempsey. I was calling him Dimps.
No, that was Fritch.
Yeah.
He walks like Dempsey. what?
Ooh.
Well.
All right.
There she is. Now she's hiding. What? Shiny a little, huh? The only one that really counts in that shot is that lovely lady right over O.J. Simpson's head.
Emmy, yeah, she's sticking close to Howard. Last night we went to a charitable affair for honoring Bum Phillips, and when the affair was over, Howard had about 13 of the Saints' wives cornered. So Emmy's staying close to him since then.
Nothing's changed. The Juice was noted for his absence of truth during his playing years, and that embellishes the situation.
Set to go. Once again, the score tied at 14. Got underway following a turnover with George Rogers leading the way for the Saints. A touchdown. Lance Bell answered with an interception from Stabler to make it 7-7. Kenny Stabler came right back. Hit a 38-yard touchdown pass to Hobie Brenner. And then Marion Barber took it in from 1 yard out to climax a jet drive to make it 14-14. Reminder once again, New Orleans 6-5. A win tonight. They move into a tie with the Rams and the 49ers. NFC West. And, of course, the New York Jets are 4-7. They could be 5-7. And they would still be 3 games behind Miami. Jimmy Rogers will bring it out. And Rogers out to the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at the first quarter stats, and then we'll move to the second quarter.
In the first quarter, as you can readily see, New Orleans dominated. The Jets scored because of a Lance Bell interception and returned for a touchdown. But in the second quarter, the Jets evened things off. The Jets did accomplish, though New Orleans leads in total yardage, 2 things. First, they stifle the New Orleans run. Rogers held a 39 yards. Second, the pass rush intimidated Stabler to some degree.
Stabler on the night as he looks over first and 10, 5-11, 102 yards. This is Hokie Gajan, right side, and he's dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
I might have added, Frank, that Freeman McNeil, who began tentatively after 7 weeks on the sidelines with that shoulder problem, had a very good first half. He got 61 yards on 13 carries. And it became clear that his confidence increased during the half. He is back.
And that's good news
Second
for
down
the
and
Jets.
10. George Rogers piled up after a gain of a couple, giving 3. It'll be third down and 7. And Richard Todd has another problem. Joe Fields, the fine center, has been sent to the locker room for x-rays. That means the line will be moved around. They're going to x-ray Joe Fields' foot. Guy Bingham will move over to center, position he's played a little bit of, but not nearly as much as the great Pro Bowler Joe Fields, and Pellegrini will go to left guard. So change offensively that line for the Jets. Third down and 7. Stabler underthrown, and coming back to get the football is Lindsey Scott, a number 1 draft pick last year, second-year man out of Georgia with blazing speed, and he has a New Orleans first down in Jet territory.
Bum Phillips talked about Scott unrelievedly today in the production meeting as we look at the end zone replay. And here you see Scott slowing down, coming back exactly as Frank stated.
Defensive pass interference.
Jerry Holmes called for defensive pass interference, but forget it, they'll take the play. Lindsey Scott, part of a memorable triumvirate at Georgia. You had Buck Ballou, Herschel Walker, and on a clear day, Lindsey Scott.
And Bum says Lindsey's going to be a great football player. It's just that he does some great things. He'll beat a guy at the line of scrimmage, then he'll forget what his pattern is, or he gets lost back there. But they expect great things from this guy.
Lindsey Scott, 6'1", 197-pounder, and he did set those records at Georgia for receiving yardage and receptions. And first down now for the Saints at the 38-yard line of the Jets.
Frank, remember that run against Florida to steal the game?
George Rogers, Gajan out in front, gets a block, and George Rogers pulls right through Crable. And that's not easy to do because Crable has turned in some fine games since he moved to middle linebacker a few weeks ago.
Well, I tell you, football is one emotional game. George Rogers hasn't been able to gain a yard in about the last 6 or 7 carries. Lindsey Scott makes a big play. Those linemen were around there knocking guys down, and George ran as hard as he ran earlier in the football game. Game's all emotion.
Pickup of 7. It'll be second down and 3. The ball marked inside the 31-yard line of the Jets.
And it helps to have George Rogers running the ball.
He's big, 6'2", 224-pounder. Obviously recovered from the knee injury that bothered him earlier in the year. He's close to a first down, and this will be dependent upon the mark, and he should have it.
I think he does.
For the Saints, they have come out fired up here in the second half. Again, it's a game they feel they must have. Next week, New Orleans plays Minnesota. They'll play here. Then they are at New England, then they travel to Philadelphia, and they close here December the 18th against the Los Angeles Rams. And George Rogers, I mentioned he set that rookie rushing record of over 1,600 yards. Eric Dickerson, the Rams, could make a shambles out of that. Rogers left. Good play by Mel. And there will be a loss of a couple of yards.
That's
Lance
the third
Mel.
big play where that man has given an individual performance for you all to see. Lance Mel,
Well,
look at him here.
Let me show you the fullback who was supposed to block him, and it just did not do the job. Gay John just did not do the job there, and that's what can get a back killed. Running a dive, the guy's right in front of him, and he didn't make the block.
Remember Mel in the playoff game last year against the Raiders?
Had a great game. 2 intercepts.
In the final 3 minutes to preserve that victory. Second down and 12 for Stabler. That's a blitz down for the Jets. They like to send linebackers. They have 4 down men. Here they come. Stabler, it's a handoff for Rogers. Rogers almost broke it big. The Jets holding just inside the 25-yard line, where it'll be third down, long yardage for Stabler. 3rd and 7. That one could have broken to the end zone. The blitz was on. They were shooting the outside cornerback. And we'll watch this play from the end zone as the Jets bring in nickelback Johnny Lynn.
You know, you really don't think of George Rogers as a quick back, but he has about as much acceleration that any big man has ever had to play this football game.
Both wide receivers. Lindsey Scott, Jeff Grote, split to the left. Another running play. This is Wayne Wilson. And
Great
the Jets
ball.
were thinking pass all the way. Darrell Ray made the save for the Jets, but his first down. New Orleans, they're at the 12-yard line of the Jets.
Great call.
Let's take a look at it. They're running it should have been a trap. He was looking to.
It was a trap, but Gastineau was so wide on the pass rush. Good call. It took Gastineau way wide. He wasn't even in the play. They could have just skipped the trap on him.
We talked about that in the Jet game against the Buffalo Bills, that Gastineau has a habit of playing pass first, and it hurts him. Flecko has been covering for him a lot in recent games.
That's a good point.
First down and 10. Growth is in motion. This is Guyson. They love him here. He played his college football nearby, Baton Rouge, LSU, and he gets inside the 5-yard line. A gain of 7.
Clearly they've adjusted because they've got the running game working again, and this is what the Jets stifled in the first half.
Well, Bum Phillips believe in the intensity and emotion, and all they need is a little spark to get them going, and Lindsey Scott should take credit for this drive. He made a big play.
That's right.
And these guys are fired up now. They're blocking, and they're coming off the ball.
3rd and long, and Lindsey Scott came back on the ball, and Holmes didn't even see it.
Pair of tight ends are in. Brenner and Tice. 2nd down and 3. Wilson.
Monty Lyons
held right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd down and 3, and one would suspect that Stabler will be putting it up on top.
Well, I believe Bum Phillips knows as much about running the football as any coach I've ever seen. But I still question, when you get down there close to the end zone, the I formation is not the best formation to be running out of, unless you're totally dominating the opponent up front. But with the linebackers that the Jets have and the way they're coming off the ball in there close, not the best formation to be in.
One wide receiver, the Smarty, he split to the right. Rogers back in the game, a tailback. This is Rogers. He'll have a first down. Rogers, inside the 1-yard line.
And that was great individual effort on Rogers' part. I guess you can get away with anything. As I said earlier with Freeman McNeil, you can make up for a lot of mistakes with a great running back. A lot of missed blocks. Give a guy like that the ball, there's a lot of things he can do.
What a crowd. They are really into their football here. We've said it over and over. They've never had a winning season in New Orleans. They think they've got one. They think they have a playoff team that can go a long way. The man who brought it all here, Bum Phillips, when he came back in 1981.
Owns 2 cities, not 1.
Did we have a good time with him last night?
Oh, great time. A remarkable man. Great human compassion. Feeling.
Wilson tries to go over the top, and he does so. Touchdown, New Orleans. The Bummer, he's 60 years old. Great sense of humor. Great compassion for his players.
They love him.
Keeps the fun in the game. And he's got an eye for talent.
What a sense of values. Last night, in this affair for cystic fibrosis, he said, I would trade every victory I've ever had in any game I'll ever win. Save the life of one child.
12-play drive, 11 rushing downs, 1 pass. And Wilson going over the top for the score. Morton Anderson. Vito Merkins gets it down, and the Saints have reclaimed the lead. They lead 21-14. 7:39 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Saints with a lot of plays and using up a lot of time.
So the Jets still have the capacity for the big mistake. In that case, Jerry Holmes.
He does it every game.
Well, I like to say Lindsey Scott.
He does it every game, once or twice. Holmes
gets beaten. Well, you got to give Scott credit. There's a lot of people have made that, that ball thrown behind the deep. You know what that happens to all the time.
To stay in bounds.
Yeah,
too.
That guy, Watts from the Raiders. He gets beat on that play every time.
Ted Watts.
Yeah, tough when you play with your back to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that natural instinct, that instinct to react at the last second.
The Saints using nearly 7.5 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Wayne Wilson climaxing the drive with the key play. Lindsey Scott on a pass from Stabler to get the first down in Jet territory. Morton Anderson to kick off. Preston Brown, the NFL's leading kickoff return man after 11 games, is deep, as is number 21, Kurt Springs. Good kick by Anderson. And Springs deep in the end zone. And there is Wayne Wilson,
There's
the man
Wayne
who took it over the top. Fifth-year man out of Little Shepherd College. We'll be back in just a moment.
Big Jim.
He is back in there. What do you mean they taped it? They shot it so full of stuff you can't believe it. Yeah. What is it? You know what it is?
Redneck Riviera.
Horse and buggy. Again, the French Quarter, right?
Yep, that's the point. That's Walton's offense. The dump
Throwing
off.
to the back. Yeah. Hitch pass.
I mentioned they are refurbishing the French Quarter. I know because the jackhammers are going at 6 o'clock right below Howard's room. The Jets have the football. Richard Todd feeling the impact of the NFC's #1 defense to 11 games. That is what the New Orleans Saints are. Todd 9 of 14, 52 yards and 1 interception. Todd, this time, the pass that could have and should have been caught by Wesley Walker. Defense there by Waymer. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Stabler and Todd, both All-Americas at Alabama, both living on the Riviera Gulf Shore. And there's the replay of the pass to Lindsey Scott. Now watch Lindsey come back. Stop, come back on it, stay in bounds.
Pass interference was the flag. Scott staying in bounds. Very heady move. You see it all the time, and that defender turns his back to the passer. 2nd down and 10 for Richard Todd. Freeman McNeil. And McNeil. Short yardage, pickup of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
It wasn't much of a play, but that was a good example. Marty Lyons sitting there. He's playing a good game today.
Yes, he is.
They're in the game.
Defensive line has played well for the Jets. They still have the capacity for the big mistake. Give Scott credit for a great catch, great play, as we've described, but Jerry Holmes failed on that play.
23-yard line, 3rd down and 7. The 2 wide receivers up at the top of your screen. Walker and Jones. Scott has the time. And out of the backfield, Harper was open. And just over his outstretched fingers, Harper 5'8", ball overthrown. Could have been a big play.
Could have been, but wasn't. The history of the 1983 Jets. And now they must relinquish the football again, and good field position, barring a fumble for the Saints.
There's Jeff Grove. He'll move back close to his 35-yard line. Jeff Ramsey not having a good night. There's Ramsey. Came into tonight averaging a little over 40 yards per punt. As you can see, shoeless kicker. This time, Ramsey hangs it up. It still doesn't turn over, but Grote is forced into the fair catch at the 35-yard line. So the Saints, now with a 7-point lead, will have good field position. 41-yard effort that time by Ramsey. We'll be back in the Superdome in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to disagree with him.
What?
I'm sure I'm going to disagree with him. They really like this coach because they don't criticize. Did he criticize him at all? I guess there's nothing to criticize the guy when you like him. I like him as a coach. I just think the mark of a leader is a person that can get maximum effort from his players. Bum is a perfect example of it. These guys play over their heads.
Yeah.
You going to play it over the plate?
Yes, no, always get a lot of airtime.
Goody. Goodrich. I'm sorry, you going to play it over the plate?
Mark Gastineau, Pro Bowler, utterly frustrated by the course of events this year. He explains.
You know, it's just hard to explain the feelings of the players that are on the team because we've got so much talent on that team, and I think that's what hurts everybody as far as on the team and nationally, because I think everybody around the United States know that the New York Jets have got unlimited talent, but we just can't get it together, and it's just something that that is really frustrating for me, and I'm sure the coaches just as much or more than the players because they realize what they've got on the team too, and it's just something that I can't explain.
All right.
Hokie Gajan.
All right.
Caught from behind by Bobby Jackson, but not until he races to the 7-yard line of the Jets. Big opening left side. 58-yard run by Hokie Gajan. Again, the crowd on its feet for this former LSU star.
I tell you, I'm a fan of running backs. When you see a guy like Gajan who has what I think limited ability, go out and put the maximum effort every time and break a run like that, you gotta love him.
But it's clear that this club is superbly coached. The way they've adjusted since the beginning of the second half, making the run work. Look at this.
Great cutback. Broke the tackle by Gastineau. And he's off to the races. Well, one thing we do know,
Bobby Jackson
got
can run.
Speed.
No one ever said Gajan was the speediest man around, but he is just what you said, O.J. He plays from the heart. He did that at LSU, a 10th-round draft pick. No one really thought he was going to make this ball club. But he does a number of things. He is a fine blocker, and he has that quick burst of speed. First down, goal to go. The Saints. George Rogers. Rogers. Down close to the 2-yard line.
There is the beleaguered man.
These guys are fired up. You look at Rich Maltby was in the end zone trying to make a block on a guy who couldn't possibly get into the play. That's the mark of a well-coached, well-motivated football team.
That's the point. You said it earlier. Emotion is so much of this game. Togetherness is.
You saw John Tice, the extra tight end, come in, give the play to Stabler. Stabler usually calls about 85% of his own plays. Down on the goal line, they'll tell him what to do. Rogers, touchdown. George Rogers, second touchdown of the night.
So they've busted it wide open in a hurry. And that's the man right there.
Well, it's 2 touchdowns
remaining in the third quarter.
2 touchdowns win the third quarter. It's not quite wide open yet, Howard.
These people are going crazy.
Hey, the party's just beginning here.
Who that gonna beat them Saints?
Who that gonna beat them Saints?
It's kind of abbreviated. As you walk around town, they recognize you or something, and they say, who dat? Who dat? And they finally have created the song, and you hear it all over the place down here.
Hear them?
That's what they're chanting right now.
The Saints survive it, huh?
Rogers on the night, 73 yards on 19 carries, a couple of touchdowns. Anderson on for the conversion. Perkins gets it down. And now the Saints have opened up a 14-point lead. They build a song around it. Remember Love You Blue in Houston? Turning this thing into a variety show.
This is the least motivated, least inspired football team within my memory. The Jets.
I agree. I agree with you.
The man is, it's a sad thing.
Woo! That's got to be a heavy movie, Scarface.
I bet it is, too.
Don Alonzo, neighbor of mine, boy, does he get some assignments.
Saw Freddie Williamson's out now.
Yeah?
Have you seen it?
No. Freddie's got a lot of them out. You know, he got these.
He stars
come
in
out.
this one, yeah. I just saw an ad for it in New York.
No, it's one that got a big release in the States, but I was with him in Italy, and he's working all the time.
Let him go quickly, Bobby. You're holding him up. They're bananas in the Superdome in New Orleans. Anderson to kick off. Kirk Springs from the end zone. And Springs stepping out of bounds just over the 20-yard line. The Saints did it both ways here in the third quarter. They had a 12-play drive. They used up nearly 7.5 minutes. They got a big play from Hokie Gajan, a 58-yard run, followed by the touchdown, George Rogers going in. They lead 28-14.
They are getting big play, fiery play from their offensive line. And in that Gajan run, the culprit again was Darrell Ray.
You saw that?
Mm-hmm. Didn't you?
Well, I saw Gastineau have a shot at him at the line of scrimmage. Not that it was his fault, but he had a shot at him.
On first down, Todd is back. Fires in short, underneath, gets the completion. This is Jerome Parker moving out for a Jet first down. Last night's presentation of the day after has a whole lot of people thinking, how would our government react in a crisis where the stakes are life and death? Beginning tomorrow, a 4-part unusual special simulates the real thing on Nightline with Senator Edmund Muskie as the president and former government officials playing the other roles. The crisis game that begins tomorrow night on Nightline with Ted Koppel. First down and 10. The Jets out at the 32-yard line. Todd fires complete over the middle. Mickey Schuler, and he goes down to midfield with another Jet first down. The big tight end from Penn State.
Well, for the first time, he's connecting upfield. You'll notice the graphic earlier. Here's an end zone replay. Showed him 9 out of 14 for only 52 yards in the first half. So they were reduced to the dump-off pass. Here's Todd getting it after releasing the football.
Well, the Jets have been accused of not being an emotional football team. When you're on national TV and you're down in the third quarter by 2 touchdowns, I think the players are getting a little emotional now.
They have marked it inside the 49 of the Saints. Freeman McNeil drives the left side. He just smothered there.
He was smothered because of Mickey Schuler.
I agree.
We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations around the country let you know who's bringing you the game. A game that was close up to the half. It was tied at 14. The Jets got the scoring underway. The Saints got the scoring underway. The Jets came back. We had a tie at 14 at halftime, and now the Saints have opened up a 2-touchdown lead. We have 3:08 remaining in the third quarter. The Jets have a second down and 9. The ball at the 48-yard line of the Saints. Freeman McNeil running well tonight after 7 weeks absent from the lineup. Tries the right side. Gets a gain of about 6 yards. It's going to bring up a third down and a long 3 for Richard Todd. Dennis Winston there defensively for the Saints.
McNeil could have had a big gain
play
on the last play, Frank, if Schuler hadn't been upright, not executing his block, and stifled McNeil.
Well, the worst thing you can do for a back as a lineman is, even if you miss your block, keep moving, get out of the way. If you miss the block, you can't just stand there, because that's an area the back can't run in.
Either lead or follow or get out of the way.
George Steinbrenner. That's his motto.
McNeil. He'll have a Jet first down to the 35-yard line. Good call. Saints thinking pass. Got the trap block. Could have been a big gainer. Good defensive play.
100 yards per game with McNeil is almost automatic when he's healthy.
The trap was intended to go against Bruce Clark, and just like Gastineau earlier in the quarter, figuring pass, he took himself wide. The trap was not even necessary, and they are attending an Oiler that we have not been able to identify.
I think it's Frank Warren,
or rather
the Saints,
Saint.
their best pass rusher, at least coming off the bench. He looks like he's hurt. It looks like it could be a knee.
Hope not. McNeil, by the way, Frank, has 78 yards thus far.
They've been tough yards, and now they have just adjusted that to 73 yards. But they have been tough sledding against the number 1 team in the NFC defensively, the New Orleans Saints. We'll be right back.
I was handed 78 yards by our statistician. So there's a discrepancy between you people and our man up here.
Our man up here is giving it to our people down there. There's something went amiss. Well, Howard was handed 78. That doesn't matter. I just said they adjusted it. What did he shake off, O.J.? You think it's knee?
Yeah, he's walking
all right,
off, but you can see how he's trying to keep his weight right on top of him when he walks. He's probably just twisted a little bit. Let's see if
it's a little twist.
Yeah.
Peterzak is still around, huh?
Sure. So is
he's pointing at his thigh. Pointing as if maybe,
got a bruise.
Maybe his thigh pad the edge was forced into the flesh.
Well, we could get a little interest juice if they could score, but they won't.
Frank Warren appears to be all right. He came off holding his right thigh. We were concerned about a knee. It appears to be perhaps a thigh bruise. First down and 10, the Jets at the 35-yard line of the Saints. Bruce Harper now single setback for the Jets. Works well out of the backfield as a receiver, as any Jet follower is aware of. Saints up there showing blitz, but they drop out of it. He's tied under pressure. I think we'll have a holding call as he gets the pass off complete to Jerome Barkham.
This will be a holding call.
Slow getting up. They'll bring it back.
It was one of the better play action calls I've seen. It was a real good break on that. I thought he had the ball.
This has been their pattern all year long. Just as the Giants had trouble all year long until yesterday getting the ball in when they're inside the 20. This is the most penalized team in the league, the Jets, and that's a sign of absence of discipline. Don Shula, notably, as the least penalized team almost year in and year out.
The Raiders are normally the most penalized team.
We have holding, number 72, offense.
Chris Ward, left side, has troubled his entire career.
But with the Raiders, I think part of it is by design.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definite holding.
Well, I would say that is holding. He just spun Jim Wilkes around.
If it's not, you've got a scoop.
So the down remains the same. They lose the 10. It'll be first down and 20. The ball at the 45-yard line of the Saints. Freeman McNeil back in. He'll be the single setback. Top of your screen is Lamb Jones. Wesley Walker stiff left. Walker. And Wesley gets outside, stepping out of bounds inside the 37-yard line. It's going to bring up a second down and 12. It was Johnny Poe up there defending against Walker. Great speed on the outside.
Well, that was a good call, and that was a good play because you can't get it back all at once. You shouldn't even try.
You look at the Jets and you get the feeling that it's like going into one of those ice cream shops where they have so many flavors to choose from. You don't know what to pick. You look at the Saints. They're a team that they don't have a lot, so they just go with one thing, something that works for them, and they establish something and they go with it. The Jets haven't established anything today. They've thrown a little, run a little.
Second down and 12. Schuler in motion. Big draw. And Todd unloads to Schuler.
Out of bounds.
No, he catches it out of bounds. He would have only picked up about 3 yards on the completion. That will bring up third down and 12.
Yeah, you talk about a team trying to be balanced. Well, balance can be misleading. You can have a balanced attack. It's how effective you are doing whatever you do. The Saints get the most out of running that football, and I'm sure they would like to get more out of their passing game, but they know what they do well, and they stick with it. They can come out on the football field and establish something. You can say that's a running football team. The Jets, I don't know what to call them, a great passing team or a great running team.
Harper and Durking are both in. They're good receivers out of the backfield. 3 wide receivers. That represents Jones, Gaffney, and Walker. Third down and 12. Wide open, Wesley Walker will have the first down inside the 25-yard line. Good pattern by Walker, and good blocking for Richard Todd.
They're laying off Walker now.
So the Jets keep it alive with 1:21 remaining in the third quarter.
Let's see Walker. It looks like he and Todd, as they've somewhat timed it up a lot better. Todd has had a lot of time today to throw. He just hadn't been able to get the ball there or hadn't read his receivers correct.
Poe has 7 intercepts on the air thus far as you look at Walker's graphic.
But he has great respect for Walker.
That's
laying
the point.
well off that time with single coverage. Here's Freeman McNeil. And McNeil hit first by Johnny Poe, making a good defensive play from cornerback. Then Johnny Poe got the swarming Saints defense. And they will do that to you. They are active.
So you're talking about, the psychology of the game of football. If a receiver's having a great game, you can always double them, or you can have a linebacker bumping. It doesn't affect the lineman or a linebacker on the other side, but when a back is having a great game, it affects the whole defense. Everybody feels that we got to work together to stop this guy.
We have a second down and 8. Ball marked at the 21-yard line. Walker goes right. And now Lamb Jones will move into the slot up at the top of your screen. Good shot. Richard Todd gets Wesley Walker. He'll have a first down. He's inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first down, goal to go. So 2 fine passes. Todd to Wesley Walker has kept this drive alive.
Well, this is the Wesley Walker we've known through his whole career with the Jets. He's suddenly having a field day. Free again and again.
Hey, he should give a bonus to Freeman McNeil for every game Freeman plays.
Exactly.
And that time, Waymer was caught in single coverage. Richard is reading it well because a moment ago on the 3rd and long, he read Johnny Poe in single coverage. Walker now 5 receptions, 55 yards.
And he should have 8 or 9.
Those are the seconds remaining in the third quarter. Here comes the blitz. And down goes Richard Todd. That will not be a fumble. Todd, however, hit by Ricky Jackson. That's the second sack of the night for Jackson.
I tell you, he leads the team in sacks, and I was told by a coach that he's just too strong for any back to block. And you saw a back came there, back had perfect position on him. He just ran right over him.
Well, you mentioned that he played with Hugh Green, the much celebrated Hugh Green of Pittsburgh, but it was actually Ricky Jackson, as a senior, who led Pittsburgh in tackles.
Well, you knew the blitz was coming.
You can know it's coming, but you still have to block it.
Oh, I don't think they were surprised because the Saints will blitz probably more than any other team going right now today, particularly in the NFC. Time expires here in the third quarter. It's 28-14, the Saints over the Jets, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter after this word from our local stations.
Oh, win the bomb.
This is the worst Cubs team I've ever seen.
I can't argue with you. I can't argue with you. I can't say the worst. I played on a couple of poorly coached teams.
You haven't seen all of them, have you?
Yeah. I played on one my first year in San Francisco. That was
Seen
really
the Giants play?
accomplished.
You seen the Giants play? Have you seen the Giants play lately? That guy doesn't even have any timeouts. They're in overtime.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don.
Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that gonna beat them Saints? Hey. I can't do that up here. Unruled.
It'll be a good call now, Juice.
Huh?
Good call. McNeil on a trap. ISO Jackson on this one, Chet, number 57. He'll probably come again.
Hey, I'd bring him.
They want him out of 3 if they can.
If they bring him, they should run a quick screen to his side.
Yeah, that'd be. Or just.
Oh.
Yeah, defensively, number 57, left side linebacker.
Yeah.
Just a guess. The Jets, their second down, goal to go. The ball near the Saints' 20-yard line as we begin the fourth quarter. They're also down 14 points. The Saints on top, 28-14. Bruce Harper, fine receiver, number 42, in the backfield for the Jets. Saints showing blitz and then dropping out of it. Todd goes low and behind. Incomplete. It'll bring up third down. And goal to go from the 20. It's Bruce Harper, the intended receiver, picked up, covered smartly by Whitney Paul, the outside linebacker.
And Bruce Clark tagged Richard Todd. Oh, Bruce Clark from Penn State. Him and Matt Miller. They were pretty tough together, wasn't they?
Right.
Richard obviously displeased with somebody's pattern. Third down, goal to go. And in comes Derek Gaffney, the sure-handed receiver, without the blazing speed of Lamb Jones and Wesley Walker. And of course, we see Harper and Durking as setbacks, their fine receivers. 13th play of this drive, which is an endangered species at the moment.
Well put.
Richard Todd gets a great effort, and he fires the ball over the middle. And a Jet is down. It is Bruce Harper who could have caught that ball. It would have, of course,
It would have been a great catch, Frank.
It would have at least moved Pat Leahy much closer for his field goal attempt.
Very interesting series of calls, Juice. You've got them pouring in on you. You've got the blitz. You know it's coming. Not one single call of a quick screen.
Yeah, I thought they should have.
Unbelievable.
Taxed them a little. You made a point there. You said it would have been a great catch. Well, that's what the Jets have lacked. They've lacked the big play this year. They've moved the ball well, but they've lacked the ability to make the big play, and they need the big catch. You saw the big catch that Lindsey Scott made. Well, the Jets have not made those type plays.
Actually, Harper had a difficult time getting out of the backfield. Richard stepped up. He was distracted there by one New Orleans Saint. Here is Harper. I'm sure Harper would agree. That's one he should have caught.
Well, I don't know. It was a
Whitney
tough catch.
Paul on the coverage. And Bobby Johnson up there helping him.
Watch Ricky Jackson again. 57 coming to the screen here in a minute. See why he was forced to throw that ball. Bingo. There he is. No,
I
don't
thought
know if
that was a late hit, by the way.
I don't think so. He seemed to be there. With slow motion there.
This young man now on the carpet, Bruce Harper, has just played some fantastic football for the Jets in the absence of Freeman McNeil. He had arthroscopic surgery on September the 6th. He came back 3 games after that, and he came in tonight with some great numbers. As we look at the
halftime,
we'll switch through the third quarter.
Yeah. Things virtually evened off at the halftime, and so was the score at 14-all. But in the third quarter, look at those rushing yards as New Orleans poured it on.
Started marching in.
With a big, they started marching in.
Those Saints. I tell you.
Harper is up. He's not a big man by any measurement. 5'8", 177 pounds. And he was really hammered.
You know, as a runner, I really admire that bum. Running the football is so simple. You just try to put more people at the point of attack than there are offensive players and there are defensive players, and it's amazing how many coaches can't convey that to their players. They try trap blocking and position blocking. It's a simple thing. Don Robinson, Bum Phillips, they understand it as well as anyone.
38-yard attempt by Pat Leahy. And Leahy, who loves the luxury of kicking off the carpet, he kicks in wind-blown Shea Stadium off natural turf. He gets it through the uprights. They'll mark it officially at 37 yards.
Well, we need a break, Frank. We need a turnover. And
I don't know. The game's getting interesting. They need to stop these guys this drive.
You're not going to do it. They're going to run on them. And
hard to get a turnover from Stabler when he's got this kind of lead.
Yeah. But the Jets, I'm sure, are going to play run defense right now. Well, I don't know. Stabler may burn him with Stabler. Hell, what do you know he's going to do? When he passes, he knows when to pass and what to throw.
Their offense, 14th in the AFC, passing, 27th in the NFL. Come on, Bruce, you all right, baby? You're a fine little football player.
Yeah, he sure is. What he's behind Cribbs and Marcus Allen in total yardage. Elite company.
Missed 3.5 games and had 40, 60 touches coming in tonight. He'll be right.
Yeah,
take him in, though. Looks like shoulder, right shoulder.
Yeah.
Bruce Harper going into the locker room. We presume we'll get a report, and we'll give it to you as quickly as we get it. Pat Leahy to kick off for the Jets. Wayne Wilson is back along with Jimmy Rogers for the Saints.
It's a rib injury, Frank, that Harper has.
And Leahy surprised Wayne Wilson, puts it over his head, out of the end zone, touchback. It'll be first down and 10 for the Saints at their own 20. This Friday, college football, 2:30 Eastern Time. Army goes against Navy. Then Saturday, that'll be at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Second-ranked Texas against Texas A&M. And then at 3:30 Eastern Time, December the 3rd, this is on Saturday, third-ranked Auburn against Alabama, one of the great rivalries, as is the one between Texas and Texas A&M. And, of course, Auburn will be right here for the Sugar Bowl, New Year's Day. You'll see it right here on ABC. Actually, they're going to play it on January 2. First and 10. Rogers left side. And the Jets holding to a couple. Big man. He's been unable to break off the big play tonight. Oki Gajan did that with a 58-yarder to set up the Saints touchdown, but Rogers has got the tough yardage.
He's almost caught Freeman McNeil.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about Jim Brown coming back. It's strange looking at Rogers. I liken him in some ways to Jim Brown in that he's 230-something pounds, and he never gets caught from behind. You know, Jim was like that. He'd never catch him in the secondary.
Second down and 7. Gajan, he is stacked up as he moves over the 25-yard line, a gain of a couple of yards.
Juice, I got to be honest.
Third down and 3.
I don't liken anybody who ever played this game to Jim Brown. Just to be honest.
Well,
I think you were one of the greats, but I think Jim Brown is the greatest running back who has yet played football.
well, I certainly have to agree that there's never been anyone better. My favorite, though, of all time is still Gil Sayers.
Different kind of back.
Well,
Third down and 3 for the Saints. They need this. Jets is throwing a lot more fire. Wayne Wilson, right side. And Wilson will get the first down. Good effort. Spinning, twisting over the right side. And he'll have a Saint first down at the 32-yard line. That was a big play.
Yes, it was.
It's a big, big play. And Mel wasn't happy with himself on that play, and neither was Klecko, for that matter.
Well, we got this game down to what the Saints like to play. It's you against me. You know we're coming at you. Stop us.
That's
the
man
guy that has coached at every level, high school, college. Came here in 81 after 6 years with the Houston Oilers. Bum Phillips has the Oilers in the playoffs, 78, 79, and 80. Trying to do it once again here with the Saints. Wayne Wilson. Fumble. And the Jets will have it.
There's a break the Jets needed.
Jets get the turnover that they've been looking for. And guess who? Lance Mel. Always around the ball.
A big play man.
Tonight. Took it in for the Jets' first touchdown.
Probably deserves All-Pro,
up.
but he's playing in a position that's probably the toughest position in the NFL today to make All-Pro.
Give Gastineau an assist.
Gastineau was the guy. That's right, Frank. He punched that ball out.
So the Jets, first down. They're at the Saints' 40-yard line, and Lance Mel is slow, moving off to the sideline.
He can't afford to lose that.
I tell you, he's been All-Pro in most years, but when you look at Banks and Taylor and some of the great linebackers in this game, he's got some tough competition.
Chip Banks has really become a great linebacker.
Always has been. Always has been.
We're in the fourth quarter. 12:32 remaining. And the Jets trailing 28-17. Freeman McNeil, single setback. Lamb Jones split to the right. Top of your screen is Wesley Walker. Freeman McNeil. An opening that closed rather quickly. Derlin Moore rolling out from nose tackle.
But he got 4.
Good backs will get 4.
Winston not.
Dennis Winston a little slow getting up. It could be.
Yeah. Could
Dennis
either be a
Winston
shoulder. No, I think his
Dennis
helmet
Winston.
or something maybe.
He might have even stuck in the shoulder pads of Freeman McNeil.
Yeah, his helmet,
I think his
face guard.
face guard did. That was frightening.
Yeah. Thinking of a McNeil's shoulder, I was saying it was frightening for the Jets.
And they work on Lance Mel. They're going to remove the right shoe. And now Dennis Winston is having a problem.
I think it's Kovac that's having the problem. Like he has an ankle possibly. Number 52.
Yes, it is Kovac.
They can't afford to lose him now. I think he's the leader of this defense, really, even though Ricky Jackson may be making the big plays. He's the hitter. He's the guy that keeps them all together.
He calls the plays. He calls the changeup. And Bum Phillips' son's rather complex defensive system.
You said he was 5'8", didn't you?
5'8", graduated from medical school in June of '84. Second down and 6 for the Jets. Got out there, wide receiver. This time it is Gaffney with the sure hands coming down with the ball. Another Jet first down near the 25-yard line. And the late moments of the third quarter, and now in the early going of the fourth quarter, they belong to the Jets.
Well, the game's an emotional game. It takes a big play by by the Saints that got them going, and the Jets have just made a big play, and maybe that'd be what they need to get going. They get in the end zone now, we'll have a pretty good game. We've had a pretty good game.
Not a bad one.
At the 25-yard line. And this crowd once again goes to its feet. Now they're shouting defense.
Complain about the noise level.
It is tremendous down on the floor. It just reverberates around here in the Superdome, and of course focuses right down on the playing field.
Remember the night this place had its greatest noise level in history? You were with me, Giffer. When Ali appeared to go against Spinks. Ali, Spinks too.
The comeback.
The place packed, and they went simply crazy when Muhammad came out to enter the ring. Who dat?
And all this town needs is an excuse to go crazy. They need a winner, and it looks like Bum Phillips had brought them one.
I think they're trying to readjust the clock. And there's just a little bit of a delay in the game. Pat Haggerty has moved over to the sidelines where he wants to discuss perhaps the changing of the clock.
What if it's for the noise level? I think Richard Todd did a smart thing there because I don't think it was that loud. But
it was
gotta jump. Yeah, he's got to jump on the officials now. So if it gets any louder than that, they'll stop it.
Oh, we'll get the definitive word in just a moment from referee Pat Haggerty. And now we understand that our sideline man, Bill Edwards, has told us that they're going to put 24 seconds back on the official clock. I guess that will make it official. Well, they'll count it down. Richard Todd, meanwhile, utilized the time. He drifts over to the sidelines, has a quick word with Joe Walton. Cincinnati with Kenny Anderson able once again. Chris Collingsworth, Dan Ross.
5 out of the last 6.
Pete Johnson had himself quite a game yesterday.
They've really come alive. They're like the playoff team of a year ago since Pete Johnson came back. Miami will have plenty on its hands to handle. You can believe that. That's a good matchup.
Everything is now put back together again. 11:44, the clock says. That's official now. It's first down and 10 for the Jets. They're near the 25-yard line of the Saints. Walker in motion. Richard Todd gets it into the tight end, Mickey Schuler, short of the first down, inside the 20-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3.
But he fired that ball. Threw it well, threw it confidently, and Schuler is the sticky-fingered receiver.
Joe Walton now using receivers to bring in the plays. Kovac, by the way, coming back into the defensive huddle for the Saints. He apparently all right. There's Joe Walton. Wife Ginger looking on. Has a fine son, 11-year-old. I'll tell you, it might be tough on Joe Walton. I've been in this game a long time. It's tough on the family, too. And you better believe, Tiger, your old man's all right. Second down and 3. McNeil. It looked like he might want to throw the football. Flag is down across the field.
I think he wanted to create that illusion that he was thinking about throwing the ball.
No, Freeman has thrown.
He may have,
key pass for a touchdown last year.
Again, the flag is down. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Illegal formation, offense.
They get more and more of that now. And, of course, the formations used in the game today with the multiple receivers, the multiple specialists, create that kind of a situation where you get it.
Interesting penalty. Always at a key moment.
Well, those are the ones you remember. There's a lot of them at dull moments, but you don't recall those.
That'll back the graphic up. The down will remain the same. Second down, it'll be second down and 8. Marion Barber is in the backfield now for the Jets, along with Freeman McNeil. Wesley Walker up at the top of your screen. He's been Todd's key man. This is the down the Saints like to bring their folks. Fake reverse. Freeman McNeil holds on to it. Bobbles the football, and the Saints cover. The Saints get it. Freeman McNeil hit hard, coughs it up, and the Saints get the turnover. Frank Watlet.
He hit him pretty good. McNeil is still down on the surface.
McNeil still down and holding the left knee.
Oh, that. He looked like he was stumbling when he got hit.
Now they are looking at the ankle, the left ankle of Freeman McNeil, and he is in obvious pain.
Frank Watlet, another one of those defensive backs. Doesn't have a lot of speed, but he's a heads-up smart player. Look at him. You'll see him. He'll appear to be stumbling. It looks as if he couldn't get his balance.
Watlet. Gaffney had a shot at it, and there is Frank Watlet. Gets the turnover. Third-year man out of Kansas, and the free safety. McNeil is still down. They're still looking at him. We'll be back.
Well, if ever there was a game where you could see one team motivated and the other team not, this is it. If ever there was a game.
Ankle, thank God.
It's ridiculous.
What, did he fumble?
No, this team is so ill-motivated. Always the key penalty. Always the key misplay. No discipline of any kind. And the play selection is beyond human believability.
Why don't you say all that?
Otherwise, they're well coached.
Freeman McNeil has come off the field. He was walking fairly well at this point. He was in obvious pain. They took the shoe off, and probably either the left foot or the left ankle. We'll do our best to get a quick report on McNeil. Meanwhile, first down and 10. The Saints on the fumble recovery. The ball at their own 15-yard line. Inside 11 minutes remaining in the game. Saints with their 6-5 record, trying to draw abreast of the Rams and the 49ers for the lead in the NFC West. Faber going all the way. Hooker Gaijan, another big opening, and Gaijan up to the 25-yard line. He had to get just beyond that for the first down. Lance Snell made the stop.
Let's take a look at Lance Snell, number 56 there. Falls right inside, fights off the block of the, I guess it was a tight end. Gets in on the action. He's always where the ball is. Just too bad this team is not winning. When you're winning, you get the recognition you deserve with outstanding play like his.
On that play, he was doing someone else's job. Second and short. Gaijan gets the first down easily out over the 25 to the 27.
I admire this football team, and I admire Bum Phillips.
They're doing the best with what they have. They came
sure
in tonight's game 14th in the conference in passing, 27th in the NFL, 12th overall in the AFC, but the best thing they could do is run the football, and they've done that tonight. They're creeping up close to 200 yards on the ground, and it's been a long time since the Jets have allowed even any running back to go over 50 yards.
And that's Gaijan's first 100-yard game in his career.
George Rogers breaks it back against the grain, runs into Grable, the middle linebacker, who was floating out.
Well, Gastineau did one heck of a job penetrating where it may have hurt him on a trap or off-tackle play. He did a great job of getting some penetration on that play to break down the interference and not allow George to get outside. I mean, Rogers to get outside.
Look at that difference.
They are
right
over
there.
the 200-yard mark. The Jets in the early going gave up tremendous yardage.
Well, the Jets haven't been.
New England, Tony Collins had over 200 yards against them. The Rams, we watch George Rogers once again. Now the Saints are playing back to that weakness that the Jets had early in the season. Kurt Warner, well over 100 yards for Seattle. And then the Jets put it together against the rush. But the Saints are using their best weapon, that is the running game.
Well, in the last 7 games, the Jets have given up an average of about 85 yards per game rushing, and that's excellent. Can't play any better than that.
I mentioned that it was Tony Collins who went for 212 yards against the Jets. Actually, New England had over 300 yards rushing, and the Saints now are second best against the Jets in that area. 3rd down and 7. Stabler rifles it out. It's complete to Lindsey Scott. He kept his head about him and got a first down out of it. Jerry Holmes defensively there, but that was a great effort by Lindsey Scott. He was actually crawling to get that first down.
That's two great catches by Scott in this contest.
Let me tell you, they've been waiting to get that big receiver, and if Lindsey Scott plays up to his ability, they'll have that home run hitter. Bum Phillips told us today he's happy with his offense. He really don't need any more players on his offense. He says he has the nucleus there, and he thinks they'll mature and be an excellent.
You want to know
team.
something? You don't need the best players in the world at every position. You need the best team. That's what the Washington Redskins understand.
At the 37-yard line, George Rogers turned something into nothing into something. That was stacked up beautifully. He spun back to the inside, and he'll get a 4-yard pickup out of it.
You're one of the greatest players ever to play this game, Juice, and you know what emotion means. You know what motivation means. And you know that the key to coaching is for every man to get the most out of himself, but only in synchronization with every other man on that team. And that's what Bum Phillips does for a football team.
Hey, how about a city? Look at this city.
Marked at the 41-yard line, so it's a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Rogers once again runs in to his own man, Wayne Wilson, and then Kenny Neal did the remainder of the job. Still, there was a pickup by Rogers of about 2 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Meanwhile, the seconds are ticking off.
We don't want to make this the Bum Phillips show, but I happen to have a lot of admiration for him. Obviously, being a running back, I've seen what he's meant to Earl Campbell and what he's meant for George Rogers here. And to see a coach, players' enthusiasm for playing for him, to see cities turn on to him.
That's right.
It's incredible.
Exactly right.
3rd down, long 4. Saints working on the clock, trying to keep this drive alive. Wilson. And Wilson is taken down right at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Jets will get the football back.
Well, there was a mix-up in that handoff, as you could see, but they weren't going anywhere with that play anyway. Still, they've used up a lot of the clock.
Yeah, I was going to say the key to that is they had a couple of first downs. They used up some the clock. A passing team may have gotten 3 or 4 first downs and used up a minute and a half. They used up about 3 minutes during the time of those 2 first downs.
Erxleben is on. Kirk Springs has dropped for the Jets with great respect all the way back to his own 12-yard line. And well-deserved respect because Erxleben has kicked well this year, averaging over 42 yards, but his hang time is something awesome. It's another one way up. Springs at the 10-yard line. And Springs finds an opening, and he moves out close to the 29-yard line where the Jets will take over. Hustling down there defensively, it was Jimmy Rogers. A punt of 48 yards by Russell Erxleben. The Jets have the ball back, 5 minutes remaining in the game.
He's an excellent kick runner, that guy.
He is.
He's a clever kick runner.
Yeah, I did. I thanked him for buying
Finds the spot, hits the seam fast. He gets back a lot of yardage.
Thanked him for buying. Yeah, we did in the second quarter. Yeah, the sweetheart of a little girl working for him. Margaret.
Are you going to plug Nightline again?
Mm-hmm. What did they just announce?
The new plug, right?
What did they just announce? How many yards did George Rogers have now?
What is Rogers now? He's about 80. 85. Okay. What do they call this? The City of Lights or something like that? Or?
The Crescent City.
Yeah. Paris, the City of Lights. The tradition still remains. The paddle boats still exist around New Orleans, the Crescent City. The Jets with 5 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game. First down and 10. The ball at their own 29-yard line, and Todd is sacked. Reggie Lewis, the second-year man out of San Diego State, always in there when the passing game is expected.
He went around Chris Ward like Chris Ward wasn't there.
He had 5.5 seconds coming into the game. That's another.
And the Jets going quickly to a hurry-up offense.
And it worked already.
The flag is down.
The flag is for too many men on the field, so this play will go. The Saints
two flags down now.
The Saints were unable to get off the football field. It was a smart move by the Jets.
And we have seen this done before. Bud Grant has done it many times up in Minnesota. Go to a quick offense. Don't let him bring those specialists in there. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Illegal procedure. Too many mental defense.
You wonder why they didn't do it earlier.
You catch them in the change when they try to bring in their nickel back or take out a linebacker that's not a good pass defender, and that play goes.
Yeah, that's one for Joe Walton.
And this could have broken big because some of the Saints were just laying off. They saw the flags. There was no whistle that had blown. And the gain is all the way down inside the 40-yard line of the Saints.
Well,
Still, plenty of time in this game.
Frank, the Jets got away with one there. There was a big hold on Reggie Lewis.
Yeah, but it was a good play on Walton's part. It's going to be interesting to see what Wade Phillips, Bum's son, who runs the defense for the Saints, how he will counteract that.
38-yard line, first down, 10 Jets. They trail 28-17. Richard Todd, Wesley Walker, and Walker steps out of bounds with another Jet first down inside the 28-yard line.
It takes so little to motivate a team. When you think you burned them one time, you did a little thing like going on first down and not huddling, you burned the defense, you get a little fired up. You know, we won that one. It's a little war within the war, I guess, a little battle won within the war.
Wesley Walker is second ahead of George Sauer, but he is way behind a man named Don Maynard. First down and 10. Just inside the 28-yard line of the Saints. Walker, 7 receptions on the night. He's over 100 yards. Todd hurries another one out to Wesley Walker. And he gets the completion. Pick up of 7, and a flag is down. And I think the Jets will be detected holding again.
They certainly were. Discipline, discipline, discipline. It's what a coach must do with his ball club.
Well, you know, some people say that you're unlucky. One thing Lou Saban used to say to us, you make your own luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Lou Saban was right.
Because most teams will get what they deserve.
We have holding, number 75, offense.
I would like to tell you who that is, but there is no 75 on the Jets. And they have a pair of 70s on the line, Marvin Powell and Chris Ward. First down and 20. Jets now back at the Saints' 38-yard line. Blitz is on, and Todd has to roll out. Keeps it alive. This is Lamb Jones. There's some speed for you. He'll have the first down. He's out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Lamb Jones heads up. He was moving across the middle. He spotted Todd in trouble, came back, gave him the angle, got the opening for him, and now a Saint is slow getting up. That was a pickup of 23 yards. And it looks like Reggie Lewis. Yes, it is. Reggie Lewis, who is in there on the pass rush. He wears number 98. Todd chased out of the pocket by Ricky Jackson. Now Lamb Jones is hustling downfield to give him a pattern. Good effort by Richard Todd. Good effort by Lamb Jones.
Look how alone he is. He's been that way so much lately.
Well, that reason because it was a slight scramble and he just ran to where they weren't.
So Lamb Jones will have a first down for the Jets. They're at the 11-yard line. The Jets have 4:26 to work with. And meanwhile, they continue to work on Reggie Lewis of the Saints.
He's had some game, Reggie Lewis.
He's a good football player. It's a good young football team.
Oh. It is. That doesn't hurt a passer.
Yeah, me either.
What he does, he plays them all, and they all think they're part of the game.
Well, a lot of coaches have done that.
He does that on the offensive line, too, Judge. He changes by the quarter.
Does he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he does.
Keeps them fresh, huh?
He wants them to all think they're part of the game.
Well,
And the kid does keep them fresh, you're right.
glad we made that little bet.
Oh, you haven't won it yet.
There are some things you can always count on.
Yep. Hey, this
And
is
I've
not
been
over.
listening to one all night. 29. Reggie Lewis has moved to the sidelines where they continue to work on him. Meanwhile, the Jets have a first down and 10 at the 11-yard line of the Saints. Once again, they have 4:26, and they trail 28-17. Terribly meaningful game for the Saints. Todd got him. Barkham. And touchdown Jets. It was a late indication that the Jets have put it into the end zone. It was Lamb Jones coming in from the right side, moving across in front of Barkham, picking up two men, and they tried to go with Barkham as the linebacker.
Barkham just bend outside. It was one of those passes you see normally, those fade passes to the wide receivers. And you got to be happy for Jerome because last week he had a couple of miscues that may have cost him the game, and he's come back this week and played
It was a
well.
good call to put Jerome Barkham on Ricky Jackson, single coverage, an easy 6. Pat Leahy for the conversion. And Leahy through the upright. Richard Todd now has become respectable, 20 of 30, 226 yards.
And with all their mistakes, they are still in the game.
Well, that's what
should tell you
talent will
something.
do for him.
That's it.
4:20 remaining in the game. And the job the Saints have ahead. Let's work on the clock. Let's don't get cautious, though. Too early to think of an onside kick, I would think.
Me too.
They have to count on their defense to go out and get the ball back. And we got a pair coming up for you next week. Cincinnati against Miami, and of course the Raiders and San Diego get it on Thursday night. Very important game for the San Diego.
Minnesota
I guess,
against
in
Detroit
respectability.
following Monday suddenly becomes a very important
Yes, it does.
game.
Well, you can, despite the problems the Chargers are having, you can count on the Raiders to make it interesting.
They do against everybody, don't
Yeah.
they?
Hey, they're an exciting football team to watch, I tell you that.
They had a laugher against the Bills, and suddenly from 24-3, 24-all, and then Chris Barr. But they do win.
The Saints are thinking the Jets are going to go with the onside kick. Maybe if we get Jet 40 cover this in the end zone.
Well, why not play
You
it
can
safe?
see how many sure-handed types they have up there. There you see it. They have one man practice, Jimmy Rogers. And you have 10 men up, and they're sure-handed types, receiver types.
I tell you what, I've been back there a few times in situations like this when I was a rookie in the league, and you sure hope if he kicked it deep, he kicked it in the end zone.
Now this is sort of a semi-short kick, and it's taken by Watson. He, of course, is the free safety. They had him right in the middle. They had the perfect alignment for it, but the Jets took a chance on the short kick, high kick, to get a man under it. They didn't hurt themselves too much.
They didn't, Frank, and I think they did the intelligent thing. They wanted the intermediate kick to land in front of Rodgers, maybe bounce around, get men downfield in a hurry, and grab off the football.
The man who has been there so many times in his long career, 14 years rather, Ken Stabler.
14 yards.
He looks it over on first down. Problem with the team, with the lead that the Saints had, they got a little cautious. But this man isn't cautious when he runs the football. He takes Lance Mel, backs him up, and picks up 7 yards.
That was strong running indeed. The other reason I think the Jets did the right thing, Juice, when you're 4-7 and you got 4 minutes and 14 seconds left to play, it's time to take chances.
Well, I thought it was a time to take a chance at halftime when they had 27 seconds to go in the half, and you're 4-7. I'd say, hey, don't run out the clock, go for it.
Second down and 3. We understand the Saints' Reggie Lewis has suffered a sprained ankle. He will not be back. Rogers again. Flag is down, and this could be a holding call against the Saints. And that would work well for the Jets because Rogers up there very close to another Saint first down.
And if it's against Brad Elderman, it's an unfortunate holding penalty because the yardage was already made and he was already by his guy when he grabbed the guy's shirt. Now, I don't know if they call it on him, number 63, but he grabbed the guy a little late.
You saw Bum shaking his head.
Can't hurt yourself at times like that.
Holding, number 78, offense, still second down.
That's Kelvin Clark, watch number 78, upper right-hand corner, working against Joe Flacco. And Flacco was in an outside move that wasn't even necessary.
No, I didn't see the holding.
Rogers once again, second down, 13. And he's held right at the line of scrimmage, and it'll put Kenny Stabler in a third and long situation. Bob Crable over there defensively from the middle linebacking position.
He did a good job of picking his way through there, found the lane to the back, and there was nothing the back could do. He wanted to cut up, but Crable had the angle on him.
Time remaining, 3:23.
And Rogers stopped the clock, and he went out of bounds.
And if they don't make the first down and they've got long yardage,
it's going to be very interesting.
Yep, quite possible the Jets will have decent field position, though Ertzleben has kicked brilliantly tonight.
27-yard line, third down, 13. Guyon. And I just think that maybe it's perhaps a little too conservative this early. That'll bring up the fourth down, and the punting unit will come on.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. Even with running may not be that conservative, but with Guy John running, even though he broke one earlier, a tad conservative.
Really conservative when you've got a George Rogers and you're looking at a third and 13.
Yeah, but when you got the number one defense in the NFC, you say, hey, let's go with our strong
they're counting on.
I agree with you.
Okay, we have Kenny Schroy now back for Kirk Springs on the punt return unit. Kirk Springs was questionable coming into tonight. He had a hip pointer from a week ago. I don't know that that's the problem, but Kenny Schroy is back for Springs. Ertzleben, the punter, of course, for the Saints. This one doesn't turn over. And Schroy from the 25-yard line. Look out, look out. This is going to be 6. And there are no flags.
Not a flag on the field.
And the Jets take the lead.
2:11 left in the game.
74-yard return. Kenny Schroy in there. Actually, by default, Kirk Springs was to be the man. It is Springs. It is Kirk Springs. As we look down, we thought it was Schroy, but it was Springs. And I'll tell you, this man was questionable when he came into tonight's game. Severe hip pointer. Hadn't worked out all week. And now Bum Phillips is going to have to pull it back together. And he's got one of the great men to do it in Kenny Stabler. But Kirk Springs has gone 74 yards.
And let's take a look at it.
This is the way you do it, isn't it, Juice? Just open it up and hope for the best.
Just don't hesitate. He just flew through there, accelerated outside, and actually it's broken now. He has a touchdown already, and he's done something the Jets have been unable to do this year, is make the big play. They've been in every game. They haven't made the big play, and that is what you call a big play.
It's not.
Matt Leahy through the uprights. And the Jets have the lead.
Turned out to be some ball game. The first kickoff punt return for the Jets for a touchdown in 5 years.
And he had an earlier punt return that was for about 30 or 40-something yards. This kid has had a good
There was
night.
a time in Jets history when it wasn't uncommon. The year 1968, for instance, with a man named Emerson Boozer.
Hey, what about my old friend Mike Battle?
Yeah, that's right.
Battle did a good
He
job.
went crazy for a while.
There's a pair that have been there before many times. On the right, Bum Phillips, Kenny Stabler on the left.
Now you got to remember, a field goal puts it into overtime. So the Saints don't necessarily.
Well, it would certainly tie it up. It wouldn't necessarily be overtime.
Oh, now
Both of
you're
these
really
teams can
stretching
score.
things.
Well, they play a little different in the late minutes of a football game. So there is all of a sudden silence, and there, quite frankly, there are some people that have left this arena. Schroy had come out on the field, And we saw him on our monitor, and he left the field. I guess Kurt Springs even was questionable at that point because he came out, and are the Jets fortunate that he did?
That made the people at the Cradle of Coaches in Oxford, Ohio very happy.
Leahy to kick off. Wayne Wilson is deep. Jimmy Rogers is back. Leahy booms one into the end zone, driving Wilson deep into the end zone for the touchback. And if you ever run a punt back, and there was no picket line intended, and Springs did what you have to do, just put your head down, hope for the best. He popped into the open, and there was no one there to get you. And he knew he was number one. So now the job for the Saints. Keep in mind, a victory tonight, and they move into a tie with the 49ers and the Rams. A loss tonight, and they move into a tie with the 49ers and the Rams. A loss tonight. That's a horse of a different color, indeed.
Who dat?
They go into second place, a game behind the 49ers and the Rams, and also it will mean that the Cowboys are mathematically into the playoffs, at least as a wild card. First and 10, Stabler back. Fires. This is Hobie Brenner, and Brenner gets 5 yards to the 25-yard line, and we have arrived at the 2-minute warning. Both teams have their full complements of timeouts, 3 apiece. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, when you see a team make that many mistakes and wind up ahead, it just shows you the personnel they have.
Hey, they got outplayed tonight, too. They got outplayed. The Jets got outplayed tonight, and they're in the game.
They're ahead.
Yeah. No kidding.
It's just the opposite of the way they've been going all year. The opposite of what they've been going all year. They've been outplaying some teams and not winning.
Well, they got to get a bone somewhere.
Yeah.
That kid really. Hey, that was Shorey back there. It wasn't Chet when we shot him. That was Shroy back there when you post. God, I'm glad you caught him. Yeah. Good. 31-28, 2 minutes remaining, 74-yard touchdown run. Kurt Springs has silenced the sellout crowd at the Superdome. Many of them have left. The Saints had a commanding lead at one point, 28-14. And now they trail by 3. Second down and 4, Stabler back. Gastineau. And Disco Mark will put it on. Stabler sacked all the way back, close to the 11-yard line. Loss of 14.
Well, Frank, you said many of the fans left. I don't think they left because they feel the Saints are blowing the football games. I think they were ready to party, and they were going to get good seats at the bar.
There'll be second thought. Third down, 15 for Stabler. Stabler fires a shot short of the first down to Hobie Brenner. Now close to the 28-yard line.
That was the case of 2 linebackers covering a tight end. They felt they had him covered. They both looked back at the quarterback, and Hobie Brenner made a nice adjustment to his left, and Kenny Stabler put it right on the money.
And he wants timeout. This could be their season coming up. His fourth down, it'll be about 2. And Stabler wants to talk it over with Bum Phillips. 1:29 remaining in the game. And Stabler moves over to the sideline. You got a George Rogers. He can often get 2 on his own.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're deciding if they're going to go or not. They're deciding what play to run.
Oh, they're going to go. Boy, those 2 faces have seen a lot of tight football games, haven't they?
Well, Bump shouldn't feel bad about his players because I think they played as well as they can play. This team played a good football team against what I would obviously say a superior football team in talent.
They haven't lost yet.
Oh, it's not over, but I'm just saying if it is, or if they don't win, they play great ball tonight.
They're bouncing back from a 27-0 loss to the 49ers a week ago.
Interesting.
We watched Atlanta almost inept against the Rams in the second half of last week's game, and then they turn around and beat the 49ers.
Interesting thing about the Jets. If they do win this game, they will have basically cleaned up on the Western Division of the NFC. They beat the Rams. They beat the Niners. If they win this, they will have beaten the Saints if they win it. And they had Atlanta 21-0 when they unaccountably blew that game.
Well, everything comes down to this play here.
Not
Fourth down
unaccountably.
and 2, and you had a quick look at little Tiger Walton's father on the sidelines. He wants this one desperately.
He should have it.
Wayne Wilson, he's got the first down. They stay alive. The clock continues to move. Jerry Holmes up there quickly. That's character. That team, they gave it to not George Rogers. They gave it to Wayne Wilson. They blocked it out beautifully.
Well, they gave him an overshifted defense, the Jets, and they went to the weak side of the defense.
Stabler doesn't hurry, gets it to Jeff Gross. He'll need much more than that. He was pursued by Joe Klecko at that point. And now, timeout once again.
57 seconds left, as you can see. So,
And they got a quarterback who is as good as there has ever been
at
leading
using
them right
the
now.
clock.
Well, he walks
He
over.
knows what he
and
wants to do.
There has been timeout called. He actually calls most of his plays.
It's his hand right now.
Lord, I've seen him win victories. Don Shula could write a book about some he's lost to Stabler. Remember the prayerful pass to Clarence Davis?
Yeah, you've got me puzzled with this one. They stopped the clock, and now they're going to go. 30-second clock hadn't even started. Stabler, Jeff Gross.
There you
There's
go.
the 38-yard line. Stabler leveled once again and very slow getting up. And this hurts because Stabler may have to use a timeout now just because he's shaken up.
Oh, he has plenty of time with 45 seconds and one timeout left. He has plenty of time to run 3 or 4 plays, maybe even 5 plays, and save the timeout for...
Joe Klecko is all over referee Pat Haggerty. He wants him to start the clock. Stabler was down on the field way back at the 30-yard line.
Wait a minute.
They're trying to get Klecko says, well, we're not concerned about him being hurt. We want the clock to start. If he's hurt, they have to call a timeout.
Frank, I think Klecko is right. They
He is
must
right.
call a timeout.
He gave a signal for a timeout,
He
Stabler,
certainly
when he
did.
got up. So he gave the signal for timeout. I don't know what Klecko is arguing. He may be saying that the clock didn't ever start, but it was 57 seconds clearly on the clock when the play went off, and it's 45 seconds now. So that may be his
timeout
argument.
has been indicated by the Jets. And that will bring them down to one timeout, and it could all fall on the shoulders of this youngster, Morton Anderson.
I think
His longest field goal thus far has been 50 yards, but at Michigan State, as a senior, he kicked 163 yards.
I think Klecko is claiming that the clock didn't run down during that play where they have a replay in the middle of the stadium here up high, and you watch the replay, you can see the clock was running.
Well, under any circumstances, the officials have decided
The Saints now on the scoreboard clock have no
timeouts left.
So they did call timeout the play before, and they did not even use what appeared to be the full minute. Well, they're going to sort all of this out. That's the official timekeeper. And here's Pat Haggerty. Well, we thought Pat Haggerty was going to talk it over with him. So did the entire crowd because there was a huge hush that fell over this arena. First down and 10. The Saints keeping it alive. They're at the 38-yard line of the Jets. Stabler trying to get it in close.
That's all he's trying to do.
The 34-yard line. Bob Crable laying all over Tice. Tice trying to get up.
Yeah, that should have been a delay of game.
Well, they stopped the clock. The official, in his estimation, says that there is a delaying tactic by the defense. They did stop it at 32, and now they start it at 25 seconds. Stabler will put this in the air. Gross drops it, but the clock stops at 19 seconds with the incompletion.
Well, Groth was just thinking about getting out of bounds on that. Didn't stay with the ball.
It'll be third down.
He wants to
and a
get
long 7 for Stabler.
He wants to make assurance double sure, get it in a little closer, but under any circumstances, they're now in Anderson's range.
Well, I don't know about that. It'd be a 50-yarder at this point.
More like 52. And let's pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. A dramatic moment coming up. Anderson has come onto the field with 19 seconds. It's only third down. The ball at the 34-yard line, a 51-yard attempt. Guido Merkins will put it down. Jim Peterzak will be the snapper. On his way. No. And why on third down?
Well, maybe he was concerned about a holding penalty, or I don't understand.
Recover and
yeah,
still
but
kick.
we've been talking about maybe some questionable coaching calls on the part of Joe Walton. Well, when you got Kenny Stabler, I think you should take the other down.
I do too. I'm just explaining why they didn't.
A happy moment for, as Howard characterized, a much beleaguered Joe Walton. Anderson, placement was good by Guido Merkins. And you knew right then. And the life that kickers live. And
Coach hasn't had this opportunity too often, huh? For the big cheer, huh? Well, Coach, he's lost a lot of games like this where he's outplayed the opponent and didn't make the big play in the night. I think they've been outplayed for most of the night, and they made the big plays and they're winners.
The Jets will go 5 and 7. They'll be 3 behind Miami, 2 behind Buffalo, 1 behind Baltimore. New Orleans can't stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. And meanwhile, for New Orleans, they lose tonight. They drop into second place, a game back of the 49ers and the Rams. For New Orleans, they play Minnesota, New England, Philadelphia, and then they close here against those Rams. So the Jets, who look to be in trouble much of the night, have pulled it out. 74-yard punt return, Kirk Springs, the big play. We'll be back for a final word.
Well,
That line then go to
look at him. Well,
yeah, I got you. Okay. And then I'll do that first. Okay. Well, no, you don't want the crisis game? That's on the panic list. Okay, I got you. Okay. I got you. I want to hear I explain that on a third down. That is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, you get 5 more yards, the kid's almost a cinch. I mean, try it out. I mean, if you can't do anything else, throw it, kill the clock with the incompletion. Yeah. Boy, there were some strange happenings in that little series. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Once again, the final score, the Jets, a comeback winner over the New Orleans Saints, 31-28. A reminder, last night's presentation of the day after has a lot of people thinking, how would our government react in a crisis where the stakes are life and death? Well, beginning tomorrow, a 4-part special stimulates the real thing with Senator Edmund Muskie as the president and former government officials playing the other role, the crisis game. It'll begin tomorrow night on Nightline with Ted Koppel. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games and the proud sponsor of the United States Olympic team. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. The winning touchdown, Kirk Springs, pops it loose. He had not come on the field. Then he came back out playing with a very sore hip pointer. He goes 74 yards for what proved to be the winning points. Did Joe Walton, the rookie coach of the Jets, like it? That face tells it all.